What's going on, everyone? And welcome to the Season Gaming Bitcast, episode 346. It is another lovely Sunday here, and we have a show without Travis, so it's going to be even better today, which is fantastic. So we got a lot of games to talk about. We're going to be talking about Ghost of Yote. We got the state of play for that this week. We got a crazy story developing with Crafton and the Subnautica team, which we're going to talk a little bit about. Our major topic today is around exclusivity and that the walls kind of coming down, if you will, tear that wall down. And we got Tony Hawk finally out and a bunch of other things going on. Sorry, we're a little late for our live show. Joe was holding us up, our guest here today. You know, it was all on him. That's what we're
I blame Travis.
Anyway. Yeah, we can blame Travis. It's probably his fault in some degree. But Mr. Badbit, Bitcast regular over here, host of the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast, is with us again. How we doing, my friend?
I'm doing all right. Let's clear the record here, all right? Let's come on. Ames had to go potty. He goes, "Be right back. I gotta go use a potty." I was like, "You're a grown man. Why are you using that word?" So you have to use the restroom. He's like, "Potty. Be right back," and then he ran.
Yeah.
Well, he skipped over there, but yeah.
Yeah,
I'm doing good, dude. I'm happy to be here. As always, I love this show. So when Travis had to, what's he doing? What's the excuse he thinks?
Hogue, I don't think he even told us. Like, he's under one of those stupid NDA things again.
He did. He said he was going to see something that he couldn't tell us about.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So we could just say he's out there committing crimes. I was like, yeah, absolutely. I'd love to chat with you guys and preach the good word that is Death Stranding 2. That's it. That's all.
You're on the wrong show.
Dang it.
I don't think he is. I think we outnumber you now, Ains.
That's
You
right.
do. I'm kind of scared, honestly. I'm scared.
The Porters outnumber you.
Yeah.
But he said he's skipping a second showing of Superman to join us today, so we appreciate the time, my friend. Good to have you on. And for those who don't know or don't watch Cast Co-op or other stuff like Trophy Room or XEP, Joe and I met in person for the first time at Summer Game Fest. We've done content together for a lot of years now.
Yeah.
So that was awesome, and we had a great time. So good to have you back on post SGF.
Isn't that nuts? God, we met in real life. Horrible kisser, this guy. And it was, man, what a time. I can't wait to hopefully do it again next year. Hopefully you've learned how to kiss better. And
been working at it for 46 years. I think I've peaked.
Yeah.
So.
Too much tongue, if you guys want.
We're starting the show in a weird way today, but we're moving on. The Lawman is here, still representing Nintendo from San Francisco. My good friend, Mr. Hoke. How we doing?
I'm good. I'm excited about talking games this morning.
Yeah, I am excited. Tony Hawk is here, which I'm a big fan of. Grew up a lot with, so pumped about that one. But yeah, really ready to get into it. So let's.
I will try to get excited about talking about skateboarding.
I mean, I haven't skated in a long time, but the games are good.
I try.
Let's get a couple things going here. We've got our kickoff super chat from Mr. Googleman, who I guess I'm reading today. But Googleman with the €10 super chat. Foundation Season 3 kicked off, and I don't even mind all the random characters that die within a couple minutes for some reason. Game stew today.
I am so far behind on Foundation, Googleman. I loved the books back when I was a kid. And when I saw the Apple show was not going to be anything like the books, I kind of dropped off it. I tried to get back into it a little while ago, but I'm about halfway through season 1. So season 3 starting is cool. Certainly Apple's put a lot of money into the science fiction projects that they've done, so that's cool. But I cannot speak to this topic at all.
I haven't read the books. I heard they were excellent. And so when this show came out, the wife and I watched Foundation. We watched through the whole of season 1. We started season 2, but for us, it just kind of goes like off the rails. There's just so many things in so many directions. It just kind of lost us. So I fell off of it, but I did see season 3. Launched. I hope it's good for those who enjoy it. And you're right. They are big budget. They're well produced, if nothing else. So
Apple makes fancy looking stuff.
Yeah.
Whether or not their scripts are all the way there, they make fancy looking stuff. They do.
That's it. Go watch Shrinking, because that show is phenomenal.
Good show. Good show.
Yeah.
I haven't started season 2 yet.
Oh, it's good. Season 2 is real good. Oh yeah. Okay. But like Foundation, my brothers tried to talk me into it several times. Every single time, I know bad of it. But I hope you're enjoying it, Googleman.
There you go. I did see F1 in IMAX this week, which was awesome.
Really good movie.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it, especially even as a car fan. They did a really good job. It's all real drivers, tracks, teams. That was pretty cool to see.
So wait, the guy that's driving the F1, like he's actually like a driver of F1?
No, the team that Brad Pitt and the young driver are part of, like that's all for the movie. But all the things, like all the locations and all the teams they're racing against, and the racers, they're all real. Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay, cool.
It was pretty cool. It was, it was over dramatized, of course, dramatized. But it was good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Googleman. Appreciate you, my friend. All right. Did I bring Tide's picks in too? She had to actually message me because why did StreamYard has done it again, haven't they, Hogue?
I don't know. What have they done?
I'll buy you some time by saying this portion of the show is either some of the funniest or some of the frightening. It's very
it's definitely. Well, wait till you see yourself, Joe, because this one I was like, whoa. So to preface this, because I was like, I didn't know what she was going for here. She did message me and she said it's because it was in honor of our good friend Ian Runkle, who's up in Canada, and so she did kind of a Canada / moose themed one this week. Okay. So it's definitely out of left field, but here you go.
I have antlers. Oh wow! Okay.
I think that's supposed to be Joe, but I don't think Joe wears glasses that I'm aware of. Or do you, Joe?
No, I don't. Right. But honestly, this is a flattering picture of me. I'm changing my mind on AI because of it.
I look like I'm in an Alan Wake 2 scene. So
you absolutely do.
Yep.
Yeah,
you absolutely do. My
head is way too big. And why do I have such beady eyes?
I've seen you in person. Let me tell you, I think that's fitting. I think you're sweating. Like you're really trying to either hold in a fart or you're trying real hard to beat that boss.
That's pretty much how I play. I mean, it's not too far off, honestly.
That's fair. I do like the Moose Man with the controller, though. Moose Man, I thought would be too much. He's just fine.
Is that a guy with a moose head or is that a moose? What do we think?
No, I'm pretty sure that's a moose. Look at.
Right, so he found boots that fit him, is what we're saying.
Yeah, I mean he no longer has hooves. That's alarming. He has thumbs. Even more troubling. But like he's enjoying himself. A full on moose head.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how he's balancing that. Yeah.
I don't know. It's good stuff though. Ty, thank you as always, and thanks for throwing Joe in there for the mix. Appreciate you. I'll send you that picture. That can be your new PFP.
Yeah. I like how that Joe's mustache connects. It's good.
I'm gonna I have a lore dump for you guys today. Since Travis isn't here, I was trying to think of something I could ask you, and it's a random one, as it should be, I think. Mm-hmm. But I was thinking about I don't know how I got onto it. We were talking about like 2007. I think it was Shinobi's post, 2007 to 2010 hitting differently in all the games that released in that late 360 / PS3 era, or maybe the middle of that era, which was just some of the best gaming of all time. And it got me thinking about what is the most memorable, if you ever did them. I'm sure you probably did at least a couple. Most memorable midnight launch you went to for something game related.
That's Halo 2 for me.
Nice. Where? What? You want to detail that a bit?
Oh, sure. Yeah, that was at a mall in my college town with all the guys sitting outside the, I think, Electronics Boutique at the time, waiting for Halo 2 launch. And it was just the fun times of being a student still, not having all the adult worries, and actually being in a group of people that were interested in the same thing you were interested in. So that doesn't happen a lot anymore. And I've been in lines before for other stuff, but not for a midnight launch like Halo was. And I had been invested in the I Love Bees ARG that season. Like that's a couple of months before Halo 2 comes out. So I was excited about that game. I was a little less excited to not get to spend as much time on Earth as I thought when I played it. But it's still my favorite of the Halo series. So all good all around.
You said Halo 2?
Yeah.
What grade were you in? Like college? Like
That's
super
college.
Senior? Like super senior?
Halo 2 is 2004, right? So yeah, I would have been, because I'm a year older than Hogue. So
all right, well then that's law school.
73.
law school.
73 years old, Ains? He said that was like 10 years younger, blah, blah, blah. And I said,
Yeah,
right.
so I was 20, what was I, 24, 25?
Ooh. He looked the
Shut up,
same.
young man. Go to your room.
Joke's on you, I'm already there. No, that's a good memory. Mine's is kind of a toss-up, so I'll just make you guys feel a little old. Halo 3 would be one of the most memorable. I remember playing hooky from school from it and being at that midnight launch where like people had like a generator hooked up. They had like a Halo like LAN party on like just like milk crates. You know what I'm talking about? Like it was very makeshift and everybody just like hyped for the experience. And I was a sophomore in high school. So I was like, I don't know, 14.
I had Halo 3 shipped to my law firm. So
damn,
that's the difference in age there.
Yeah, man. and income. Gears 3 would be close, a very close second. Gears 3
Wow,
was
okay.
a moment because that's when I was working at GameStop, and that was like the proto age of like the microtransaction because I remember us trying to sell people on this $30 DLC pack that included like gold guns or something stupid. But yeah, I remember us doing raffles. The line was all the way stretched around the strip mall. And yeah, it was just a great time. I brought my Lancer over. Everybody was in awe of it. Yeah, those two I think rival the best midnight launches because then you get your Maddens and those are just the worst.
It's funny you said my two Lancers, the retro and the original, are sitting right over there. You made me remember Gears 3 actually, because the funny thing is I was going to say Halo 3 as well. Halo 2 is great, but 3 was nuts because it was at an EB in a mall as well, Hogue. But the line was like hundreds and hundreds of people, and everyone was like chatting Halo stories. There, people had brought TVs to hook up and playing Halo in the line. Like it was just out of control.
And remember in those nights where you like the launch of like Halo 2, maybe 3, I forget which one, but like they showed you the globe of the world of like, here's the people playing.
That was Halo 3.
Yeah, you see the like lights like start beaming up. I'm like, is this real? I still don't know.
Yeah.
It's the coolest thing ever though. God,
Yeah.
bring this
We went back to my house. We had a setup all hooked up, and I had 3 guys. We played 4-player split screen for a while, and we watched, the world light up, as you said, like people coming online. That was awesome because I was back in the East Coast at that point. Yeah. So yeah, good times. But Gears 3 was a big one too. You made me remember that because I got the Ultimate Edition with the Marcus statue, and everyone was out. Same thing. Yeah.
That's right over there. Yeah. One of the saddest midnight launches that I was a part of was the Uncharted 3 one. Only 6 people came. And it was for also like tied in with something else. And I forget what it was. But our GameStop was like heavily like Xboxified at that time. So yeah. So those 6 people, I salute you.
That's funny. Well, that's cool. Yeah, good stories. I do miss those days. Obviously, excuse me. Now it's more about getting in and just sharing everything on socials with people you know. But
can I say something? Like this is a hot take. Don't miss the midnight launches anymore. I don't care about like I did it for the Switch 2 and it was awful. Genuinely the worst experience ever. They did it like color coded with numbers and everybody no. And I'm like, guys, this is the only midnight launch you're gonna have all year. How did you not prepare for this? It was the worst. They're letting their buddies in. Oh God. If there's one thing I hate more in life, it's regulars at GameStop. It's like
I'm going to agree with Joe on this. I am very happy to have, for instance, Donkey Kong Bonanza already loaded up on my Switch and not worrying about where I'm going to get it from and just going to play it on Thursday. And that's cool to me. But I'm older, so
yeah,
I wouldn't be going to a midnight launch anyway. Midnight, my God, I've been asleep for 3 hours.
Right. Jesus Christ. I mean, I wouldn't say that long. I'm going to bed. But like, it's yeah, like for me, it's like once I get the game, I'm tired. I don't want to. I'm so out of it. Why do I want to play something while I'm tired and I'm not appreciating it?
Yeah.
That is fun. I do like midnight movies sometimes. I still remember the Lord of the Rings and trying to understand what's happening at 3 a.m.
Yeah. You want to know my last midnight movie, and it will be the last one?
Sure.
The Last Jedi. Me and my brother walked out of that theater.
That's Hope's favorite movie, actually.
Yeah, no, I'm like, did that movie suck? We had to be tired, right? Because that movie was bad. This had to be
Travis isn't here to defend.
Yeah. Well, that's all right.
Undefensible.
Fair enough. General Stone calls out Skyrim 11-11-11. Yeah.
That was a good midnight launch. I didn't buy that until a few days afterwards, where my friend Ruben was like, "You got to play this game. This is something else." But I remember him at the midnight freaking out about it. I was like, "All right, whatever." That's and now I would do anything for that Alduin statue.
Oh, I had that.
I worked the Dreamcast launch in 99.99.
I went to that one,
but we didn't open for midnight.
Really?
Oh, you're right. That wasn't midnight. I picked it up on 99.99. I still have my receipt in the box from that day. But
I still have my T-shirt.
Nice. That's awesome.
Keep it alive.
Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. I mean, I miss some of those days, but to your point, you kind of get used to the convenience nowadays as well. So there's always.
I just resent that they won't unlock Bonanza. It's like, come on, I have it, I own it, just unlock it. It's all good, Nintendo. I'm good for it. I won't say anything.
I won't even tell anyone. Shh. Yeah. Anyway, why don't we talk about what we're currently playing? I'm gonna throw it over to Joe as being our guest first. What you been playing, man? What you been enjoying other than Death Stranding 2, which you're not allowed to talk about here?
I'm sorry, what?
Boo this man.
I haven't been playing nothing other than carrying Luke Lore and Marvel Rivals. That's all I can say.
Yeah, that's probably true.
It's very accurate.
That's a heavy backpack right there, man.
Dude, listen, sometimes if our friend I love you, Sonny, he's playing with us, it could get difficult. We were both dead in Fortnite. We were watching him play. We're like, is that AI? Is he letting an AI play for him? His movements weren't human. Luke Lore is disputing it in chat, but he's a coward, so he won't get on here and say it himself. Nor would I allow it. So, no, I've been playing Death Stranding 2. I think I'm at 83 hours. 80 for sure. I have
game of the year?
100%. 100%. We've gotten to the weird part, and I think the divisive part that people are talking about. And truthfully,
don't say anything more, Joe. I will kill you. I will find where you live and I will kill you.
That's all I say.
I don't think I've heard Hogue that serious in quite some time. I'm scared.
All right,
it's so rare for your game of the year to come along and you to realize that while you're playing it, it's like, don't tell me anything.
Don't ruin that experience.
And I've been on so many streams where it's like, okay, danger close. Nobody say anything. And I've been on with Gene Park, who's not known for not saying stuff. And it's like, okay, everybody be cool. Joe, be cool. This is a fantastic game.
Yeah. It truly is. I think narratively wise, I think it's the most coherent Kojima production or Kojima joint. But like Pogue, I think you'll agree. Midway through, he's like, listen, are the normies out of the room yet? All right, let's get weird. And there is like a all right, we're gonna get weird with the everything of the game, whether it's like the abilities you get or traversal. And it's so good. And yeah, it's more of Death Stranding, but it really, I think the sequel knows what it is, and knows its strengths and plays to them. I've said it a lot, and I'll beat the drum. This is like the Assassin's Creed 2 to Assassin's Creed jump, where it's like Assassin's Creed 1, I'll stand for it. I like that game a lot, right? Whereas like Assassin's Creed 2, they took the feedback from the audience. They were just like, okay, so you guys want this, this, and this, and defined what Assassin's Creed was. That's what Death Stranding is. Even down to the cutscenes are not as long as like there's like one or two like let's put the controller down, but like there are a lot of the cutscenes know when to leave, and I think that's really I think that's really important for the game's pacing. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I've put up so many bridges, over 500,000 likes. I don't know what the likes do, but I got 500,000 of them. So thank you everybody for starting to really appreciate the bridges that I've been putting down, because they're really helpful. Okay, they're really helpful, and
I'm a zip line mogul. Every time I check in, it's just how many people rode my zip lines. It's very exciting. It's exciting stuff, Haynes.
It really is. Like there's like a weird dopamine hit that when you're putting down like a zip line or just anything, you're like, this is gonna be really helpful for someone. And you get like that dopamine hit because there's like this mountain area that you're in, and I saw there was like I could plant a different way to zip line across this to make everything easier for not just myself but for the person that starts this mission, because it was a mandatory one. So I was like, okay, cool. And I spent an extra 30 minutes just making sure I was getting everything perfect so that the next person didn't have to go through this heavily BT, like,
those are bad guys, Haynes.
Yeah, the bad guys. Creepy ghost guys. Like, it was like akin to The Thing, where it's like so snowy you can't see in front of you. And I was like, I don't want someone to go through this. I'll do something for them. And I charted out this path for it. And now that thing has like over 100,000 likes. It's nice to see that like what you do, people appreciate it. And yeah, I've put out on socials, it's some of the most beautiful vistas in a video game. The weather effects. Yeah,
I've used the word breathtaking for this game, and it's crazy because it's like you can't tell when it's going to do that. But I've literally had moments where you're like, oh my God. And it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm on Joe's side of this.
I mean, the weather effects are nuts. Like when you get into a sandstorm or you're seeing it approach you, and then how it intensifies as you go through it or you're driving through it. I'm like, there's sometimes where I'm like, I'm going to just park the car and wait for the dust to settle. It's a whole lot of fun. And the action's great. Like genuinely.
That's the big improvement.
I've loaded up Metal Gear Solid 5 just so I can play it afterwards.
Yeah, no, it's the clear sequel to Metal Gear Solid 5.
Dude, have you played with the sniper at all? What's your way of like getting through this?
What's my approach?
Yeah.
Well, it depends on my mission. One of my favorite bits of Death Stranding on the whole as a series now is the logistical planning for being told what you need to do and then figuring out what you're going to pack.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I'm using a silenced machine pistol, a silenced assault rifle, shoddy, and some holograms.
Okay. I don't mess with the holograms. It depends on my mood, where I'm like, you know what? I got the fighting gloves on, which is so awesome.
Go electrocute some people.
Exactly. You could do like a Yameha type of like electrocuting dudes. Or like sometimes I'm like, I'm American Sniper. I'm just like sniping all these guys. Or just sometimes I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to bring out my shotgun. I'm just going to pretend this is like Gears of War for a second. So yeah, no, there's a lot to do.
Slide and a good shotgun. It's a good time.
Slide, it's great. When you hit someone with that slide and like it goes into that slow-mo like trance. Oh my God, it's great. Or just jump kicking guys. Jump kicking guys has been my favorite thing. You just like double jump and then you just hit a circle and you just dive into a dude's chest and just completely one-shot him. And then there are other enemies besides those two that you fight, and they are very scary. they're intense. And so when people go, oh, it's just a walking simulator, I'm like, no, you stupid idiot. There's a lot to do here. It's a lot of fun, and yeah, no, Death Stranding 2 so far is looking to be my game of the year, as I'm still at like the final act of Expedition 33, and I'm actually lining up with Hogue on this one, where it's like, you need to end. Like, you needed to end right now. I'm not anywhere as high on the story as a lot of other folks are, though it's a great game. Yeah, Death Stranding, as long as it sticks to the landing, it's my favorite game. Now just give me a doll man figurine or something. Eat that guy.
It's a surprise that isn't out already, honestly.
Seriously. I'm sorry, I've ranted too long. What have you guys been playing?
No, you're fine, man. One quick comment, Joe. I can tell where you live by the way you said mountain.
How did I say it? Shit.
You said it like that, mountain. Yeah, it's
Without
like
the T?
Yeah. And it's because I grew up back there. As soon as you said it, it hit my ear. I'm like, oh yeah, like that's where he's from.
Well, you know what? At work, I've noticed it when I say water, or like some people really do the Philly side of it.
Yes,
real
that's
hard.
stepdaughter. She's like, what?
Yeah.
Like what? Like it's like, yeah, it sounds almost
What?
like slang British. Like it's like what?
Yeah.
Um,
Legit was just having a conversation with one of my close friends because I was like, "Do you know that you say ask like axe?" She's like, "Oh shit, I do." Oh no, she came to the realization no one told her in 30 plus years. She says, "Can I ask you a question?"
Yep. Hogue, so you're still loving DS2 as well.
Absolutely.
Any further
Death Stranding
commentary
2
on
is
that one,
fantastic.
or
Well, I mean, my new commentary is that it continues to be awesome. I saw one of the coolest cutscenes I've seen in my years of playing video games the other day. And if you're at all interested in high-level direction, Hideo Kojima, who often gets credit for it, is doing it even better than he usually does in this game, on top of the most gameplay that he's put into a game in many, many years. So it's the whole package. If you can at all stand Hideo Kojima as a director, this is his best work ever.
Yeah.
it's not saying a whole lot, but yeah, I get it. It's cool.
I understand you got to take your knocks. I understand, but if you can stand him at all, this is where you want to live. This is what he was aimed at from Metal Gear Solid 5 on, and it makes Death Stranding 1 feel like a prototype of Death Stranding 2. It really does have that jump, and I agree with Joe. That's what I usually frame it as Assassin's Creed. That's the most obvious of the sequel jumps, and it's there for Death Stranding 2. So if it at all interests you, then sign a contract with me. You'll see my stuff in game. You'll get my zipline networks. You'll have a good time.
Well, we gotta link up after this because you gotta like some of my bridges. They're really good.
I would be happy to. I get to the end of a good bridge and I tap that like button as many times as I can.
Exactly. I do. I really do. I do stop if it's really helpful. I'm like, I'm giving you 500 likes right here. Yeah. So yeah, I do.
Kojima jokes aside, as I tend to do, right? I am excited to see and hopeful to see what he can do with OD. We don't obviously really know what even that is yet, but I've always
I'm not
thought
sure that's
that
real, but yeah.
Yeah, but I think PT was something special, and I think that Kojima's weirdness, I've said it many times, I think would play in the horror genre really well. And I love horror to begin with. So like, I'm like, if you want me to love Kojima or kind of see the what everyone else sees with him, give me a good horror game from him outside of PT, a full game. And I'm hopeful. So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, Death Stranding 2 certainly plays with horror tropes, but it's not a horror game.
That's what interested me at first with Death Stranding is it's obviously there's some of that in there. And then when I saw the other stuff, I'm like, so it's fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
There's plenty.
Not
it's
every
not
game
like
is
we're
for everybody.
No, it's not like we're lacking games. So
no.
It's fine.
All I can say is Troy Baker, boy can act. He can act and sing.
I wasn't the biggest Troy Baker fan, I'd say probably a year or two ago. And between indie and some of the other stuff, there was some other game that you didn't even know it was him. I'm not going to think of it now.
Are you thinking of Date Everything? Have you been dating Troy?
No, I don't play Date Everything, but it was something like that, like something where you didn't even, I think Date Everything.
Oh, when he said no, he blushed. He's like, no.
But there was something where it's like, oh, that was Troy Baker. And it's just like, okay, the guy's obviously quite talented.
Like he's super talented. I just
it's
sometimes get sick of his voice.
Yeah. I'm still shocked at the indie he did. I like that just blew me away.
It's very good.
Really
and yeah, Higgs is a standout. I have also been playing while I hammer away at the Death Stranding mines. I've also been hammering away at the 100-line mines. These are two enormous games, and there was a news item this week that we are really excited about in Hogue House, where I think I talked to you about the fact that the company that makes 100-line basically bet the whole company on this project. It's super big. They were threatened with bankruptcy if this didn't sell well enough, and there was an interview that they put out this week where they said that they are no longer worried about bankruptcy. So I have to thank my fellow visual novel fans out there in the world for making sure that this, one of the biggest visual novel projects of all time, is not going to result in a story that winds up ending the company that made it. So it looks like everything's going to be fine there. In that same interview, he also said that he wanted to expand it for the next decade or so, which is crazy because this is the biggest thing you've ever seen already. But very exciting. We've enjoyed a lot of this game. We've cleared it. We've got 10 endings, I think, now out of 100. So still a long way to go. for this game. And if you've played it, you know how that even works mathematically. If you haven't, I'm not going to ruin it here. But it's a fantastic game. If you can at all stand anime tropes, this is a game you want to check out. It's got a great strategy element. It's got a great storytelling element. Put those things together. You're going to have a great time for literally hundreds of hours. No better bang for your buck. The 100 line Last Defense Academy. Go play it. Keep this company going. They're doing great work. However, it is arch anime. Anime tropes until you want to kill yourself. So if you can't stand anime at all, you don't want to be here. I just don't want to be honest with people because I talked about it when it happened, but like the Expedition 33 folks were talking up the 100 line, and the 100 line was talking up Expedition 33, which is the coolest thing I've seen in a while, but they're not the greatest fit for each other in terms of I cannot promise if you like one, you'll like the other. They're very different tones, very different flavors, but two great games from two little teams. So please do play the 100 line Last Defense Academy and then tell me about it later. I'm interested in all of your takes on this game because there's so much to dig into. So me and my daughters have been playing it through together. This is one of the few games that they've been invested in the whole time, and I highly recommend it. Those are the two games I've really been working on, and then I have a Hogue note when you want me to give it.
Cool.
I would say I found one of the thumbnails shocking. That's all I'm gonna say.
Wait, what?
I looked up this game. I was like, let me see what it is, and then the first thumbnail.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no. When he says it is anime, it is all the tropes.
Yeah, that's
good for it though.
Yeah, you've lost me right away. But
I
obviously,
knew I lost you, Ains. I'm not selling you.
No, you're not selling me on that. But obviously, again, as tends to happen, for some reason, I'm in the minority because that is a gigantic audience that adores anime and those tropes. So, yeah, I'm glad you're calling that out.
It's a fantastic project because it dissects those tropes, but you have to have a certain tolerance for them existing in order to have them dissected.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Luke says anime's for nerds. Give me tights and a red cape all day like cool people. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's how it felt coming to opening night of Superman, by the way. It's like, oh, right. Comic book movie. Hello, friends.
Comic book movie at midnight. Yeah, or like opening night. Yeah,
so like that's the thing about movies right now is like opening night can work for a guy like me because I go at 7 p.m., right? But it's still that opening night audience on a Thursday and getting excited about the cameos and the various things that are said. It's like, oh, this is nice. People are nice to be around from time to time, but it is the most nerdy thing you've ever done if you go to one of these things on opening night.
Yeah.
We need more. We need more nerd stuff.
That's the only thing I'll do like opening night because I find like those are the fans that want to be there. So no one's going to be on their phone. No one's going to bring the annoying baby. Like it's the way I want to watch it.
I don't think I can eliminate people on their phone, even on opening night. But no babies that I was aware of sitting next to me. But there were people on their phone. People can't detach from their phone. It's
like just turn it off. No one gives a shit about what you're about to post. I can guarantee you, no one is. I don't care. Why would
I post my
anybody
reviews
else?
For movies from the car like a normal person?
Exactly.
While driving, of course. Like
no,
no
officer, I did not. No, I'm the lawyer. I don't put the keys in the ignition because I think that'll be operating a motor vehicle if somebody's really angry with me. So but I do tweet out my reviews from the parking lot of my theater. So there you go.
There you go.
I just show the officer my letterbox. He usually understands.
Look, I got like followers. See?
See? I gave it a
4.5. So I did check. Joe and I both. I know Joe was playing a little bit. I've been playing it a lot. It's a game I can't talk about, so I'm playing the role of Travis this week.
Nice.
In that game that's coming out. Yeah. A game that's coming out in a couple weeks. I've been putting a lot of time into and really enjoying it. So I hope I'll be able to talk about that next week. I didn't even think that.
I think it's coming out in a few days, not even weeks, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know.
The game is not out for a few weeks. I don't know about the embargo.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah.
And that's enough to go on, people.
But Tony Hawk, the new Tony Hawk is here. Tony Hawk 3 and 4, which is done very similar to the collection of 1 and 2. So pretty highly regarded. I've been playing that, put a few hours into it yesterday. Really, really enjoying it. I just love these games. I grew up with them. I think they've done a really good job in kind of remastering, making what have you them whatever line you want to call there. And, all the kind of soundtracks that take you back to that late 90s, early 2000s era and all the songs and bands. So it's really, really well done. I know that some people were disappointed with Tony Hawk 4 being structured a little differently than the original with the open big areas versus time sessions, but it doesn't bother me. Honestly, I'm just having a good time playing the game. So, and it's really, it's got a ton of customization options. It's got multiplayer and park, and it's really well done. It's a very fully featured game. And so I'm enjoying the hell out of it, honestly, as you can see by the skate deck behind me. Just brought back a lot of fun memories, from that era of my life. So
who's your skater of choice?
I make my own. I made a pretty nice looking female with tats down both arms and her back. Her name's Ains. It's good to have a name of that vein. So it works, we were sharing our skaters on our SG Discord yesterday. So, but the customization options are really well done. Like I said, like not only can you customize your skater, but there's tons and tons of different skate decks, clothes, anything you want to do. So it's good.
Okay.
It's good. Neither of you playing it?
No, I like to think that I play basically everything, and I do, but there are a couple of types of games that just never really worked for me, and I know they're popular. I think I bought every Tony Hawk as it came out because, generally speaking, I am an optimist, and I say, well, if a lot of people like something, I can probably find something to like in it myself. And I keep trying them, but I never really connected with them. There was no drive to keep playing it. I'm not a high score chaser. It's not the kind of game that really works for me. So my experience with it this week was remembering it was on Game Pass, turning on my Xbox for the first time in like a couple of weeks because Death Stranding is a PlayStation exclusive and 100 Line is a Nintendo exclusive. So I haven't turned on the Xbox in a while. Turning it on, setting it to download, forgetting I did that until this conversation right now. So it's on my Xbox. I played it 0 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting old. We're getting old, Hogue, and at least you have a stroke as an excuse because I pre-installed it on. I pre-installed it on my Xbox and forgot I ordered the collector's edition with the skate deck behind me on PlayStation. So when it launched, I uninstalled it on my Xbox and just started playing it on my PlayStation. So, yeah,
there you go. Like the Lord intended. I played it at SGF. They did not give me a code because I think they saw my gameplay, and I didn't blame them. Dude,
we don't want to review with this.
Exactly. It's like, this guy cannot even do a kickflip. I'm genuinely awful at these games because there's something about like to me it's like the combos. It's like akin to like why I can't get into fighters. I just can't get the rhythm, the airtime, the patterns down for it to be satisfying for me. But I always loved the energy these games give. Like I remember as a kid, I loved. I think my favorite part of Tony Hawk was like the park mode where you're just building your own like dumb map where it's like just make the biggest ramp you can. I love doing that and playing it with my friends there. But I'm very excited that people are excited for 3 and 4. It's one of those things where it's like genuinely I know people are excited for this. And I'm excited for them, though I'm just not good at any of these. So,
yeah. It is. I went through the tutorial yesterday, just sort of, you got to get back into it, right? Get your mindset right and remember what everything is. And I forgot how complex it can be. You know what I mean? There are so many movements and so many button combinations. And I think, mastering that is part of the fun. And then I like the structure of the game. To your point, Hogue, it's like, I don't really chase high scores much anymore. That's not, that's an old arcade thing, really. But I do like getting all this stuff on the levels, right, and going through them all. And they have all this kind of neat and goofy things on each level. So still have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
It's good. Hogue, you said you had a Hogue note. Hit us, my friend. Oh, also, by the way, didn't mean to set you up and then immediately cut you off. But I did find it funny that our topic this week is exclusivity is ending, and we're talking Death Stranding 2 and 100 Line. So good timing, Ains. That was perfect.
Yeah.
Please proceed, Hook.
I mean, I think Kojima is exclusive because he's using Decima Engine, and that's clearly part of the contract with Sony. 100 Line is exclusive because they didn't have a team that could put it on a bunch of platforms all at once, and they picked the one they thought it would work the best on. So, exclusivity is still going to exist in part because the economics of resource management dictate that maybe you aim at one platform over another from time to time. But as for the money-hatted exclusives or the focal point being only PlayStation, that does seem to be breaking a little bit down. And we're going to talk about that in more substance in a minute. But before we do, I have a game that I am really thoroughly enjoying that I play on my PC that I wanted to talk about called Become the Moon. Now, this is a deck building roguelike. So you say, oh, Rick, I have so many deck building roguelikes already. And I say, I know, I do too. It's okay. It's God's perfect game form. It's fine. You can do a lot with it. In this particular case, they took a rogue building, a deck building roguelike, and they put it together with an auto battler. So rather than, well, you play Hearthstone or something like that, where you're picking who it's attacking and you're coming up with all these strategies, you're mostly just putting your army out there and kind of trying to keep track of what they're going to do, but it's not within your control. So you kind of give up that strategy step, that tactic step, instead of just building your deck and putting it out there. The art is fantastic. I haven't won a run yet completely. There's stuff to find. There's artifacts. There's collections to build up like every other roguelike game. But I wanted to call it out because it came out a little while ago. I immediately didn't like it when I played it the first time. It's a weird flavor for one of these types of games. And I kept with it. And now I play it basically every morning because it's such a nice little distraction from the start of my workday. And I want to recommend it because of the art, because of the design stuff they're doing, and because they're doing one of my favorite things that developers can do, which is that they're constantly tweaking it and fixing it and responding to comments early on here and getting it much better than it was that first couple of days that I played it. So Become the Moon. I'd explain to you the story, but it's a roguelite. It doesn't need a story, and it doesn't have one really. You're trying to become the moon. You're trying to fight the moon. It's unclear. You hate the moon, you love the moon, whatever it is, check this game out.
Okay. All right. Yeah, looking it up on Steam. So it came out almost a month ago. To your point, looks like they continue to update it. The art does look actually very, very cool. Like
it's fantastic looking.
Yeah, very cool. It's $17 on Steam, so you can check it out.
Yeah, please do. I really love this one, and I hadn't talked about it before, so I wanted to mention it now.
Cool. Fantastic. Okay. Joe, you got any other games you want to touch on before we move on?
No, other than a comment from our good friend of me, Luke Lore. He said making a female character, making a hot girl and then giving her your name, ... is a choice.
Yeah.
Listen,
I said,
Luke, let Ains live his life.
Yeah. There's no judgment. Yeah. What's going on with this judgmental Luke? All right.
Well, how many comments have you gotten, Ains, that says, do you know you have a girl's name? So I figure you're just using it for good now, right?
Yeah, I said, look, I'm taking advantage of the fact I've dealt with the name Ainsley my whole life. All right, you don't know what that's like. All right,
so
you don't know what that's
catfish, like. Let him catfish.
But yeah, it's good times, good times. Let's get caught up on super chats as we before we move on, of course. So we've got Mr. Alex Alejandro Segovia with the 199 super chat. Death Stranding 2, Game of the Year / Ultimate Cozy Game. Now, you guys are telling me. Okay, I was going to say, you guys are telling me about this stealth combat and snipers and horror elements. And meanwhile, Alex is saying Ultimate Cozy Game. So what's going on?
Yeah, because at the same time, you want to put a bunch of construction kits in your backpack, turn on your favorite tunes on your music player, and then just go out and build the zipline network of your dreams. You're basically just playing that cozy loop, right? You're building up infrastructure. You're not under attack. You're doing what you want to do with music that you're listening to. It's got that same kind of feel. You can even set it up to only be lo-fi tunes or kaiju tunes or whatever else you want while you're out there in the wild looking at the stars, having a grand old time, not sniping anybody. Or you can say, today I'm going out, I have got a playlist that's just for like angry music. I'm going to go fight those bad guys. I'm going to hunt some people down, shoot them in the face. You can do that instead. Ultimate Cozy Game. What do you feel like doing?
This is music within the game you can select from?
Yeah.
And when you say angry music, what are we referring to here?
Well, I've got music with higher beat counts for the most part, faster music.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. That's like the beauty of Death Stranding is like just the game is what you make it. So like you can avoid all the BTs. You can go, charge at them if you want to. You can avoid all the enemy bases. You could take them out stealthily. Whatever you want to do. Yeah, it is one of those like I'm just going to set some deliveries up. I'm going to go, deliver some pizzas. I'm just gonna put on a podcast. It's the ultimate podcast game.
Yeah, I don't have a good way to get to the animal shelter. I'm gonna fix that today.
Exactly. Now I usually take the FedEx van. That's my means of travel for the most part. But yeah.
You strap some guns on that, Joe?
Of course. Yeah, there's a mortar on that. There's a little hook shot. It's a good time, man. It's a good time.
All right. Alex, thank you for the super chat. Random name in the house, the $4.99 super chat. Thanks for having one of the best podcasts. Glad to see Joe on the show. Trophy Room, the best PlayStation podcast, but we need some more episodes of Cast. My friend, thank you very much. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate the kind words for both Bitcast and Trophy Room, of course. And, Luke, Joe, and I, we do Cast it's a quarterly
9
show
weeks.
at this point.
Yeah.
It went from a bi-weekly show to an every once in a while show to a quarterly show.
You need the moon to be just right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's tough. It's tough.
You get busy, man. You get busy.
I am in no position to say, "Oh, get on it. You got to make more content." My current cadence is, I don't know. Have I made one in the last 3 weeks? Maybe.
We started it as a sideshow. Obviously, Joe, Luke, and I. If you don't know what he's referring to, first of all, Cast Co-op is a show that Joe from Xbox Expansion Pass, Luke.
You got this.
We got you.
Luke from Xbox Expansion Pass, Joe and I do together. And we did it as a second show to all three of our normal shows and content. Yeah. And we used to do it bi-weekly. And honestly, just with everything going on, our own content, it's very tough to do bi-weekly regularly. So, yeah. Jeez. Losing my mind. Random name, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Fat Boy Horror in the house with a $5, a pound, or quid. Super chat. A lot of people showing their Rocky Horror side with the tights comments. Shout out to Rocky Horror Picture Show. A classic.
Classic.
Absolute classic.
Honestly surprised that hasn't been canceled yet.
I'm sure people have tried, but good luck to them. Yeah, that's a classic. Come on. Yeah, and that's just Luke. If you know Luke, Fat Boy, you don't think anything of it.
Exactly. He's just living his authentic self.
Yeah, he's exactly. Be yourself, Luke. Don Lionheart with the $5 super chat. Good morning, all. Still trucking through Infinite Wealth. Over the 90-hour mark. Just got a new party member. Pretty sure one more to go. I'm off to Florida next week for 3.5 weeks. By the way, Don says he's a lawyer, but all I see him do is just vacation randomly for months on end. So I'm not sure any work's actually getting done. I think he's just got like a sugar mama or, some type of inheritance. I don't know what's happening here.
See, as a lawyer, I see off to Florida and understand why you would read that as a vacation. I say, oh, yes, it's going to be one of those trips where you're just doing work from a new location with a new window.
No.
Also, who wants to go to Florida for 3.5 weeks? I do think this is for work. I wouldn't want to be in Florida for 3 days if I'm not outside the Disney World,
If I'm not at Super Mario World, you can miss me with Florida. Yeah,
exactly. I'm good.
That's honestly the only reason I've considered going there. That and Halloween Horror Nights or whatever they call it. I really want to go to that sometime too. But
well, you always want to take me. You say there's a facility just for me, and so then you're like,
oh no.
Right, that's all I'm saying. Very excited about Galaxy's Edge.
I'm just saying I closed a deal in the woods in northern Michigan, so you can get a lot of work done in various places as a lawyer.
We still talking about law work?
We are a contract deal. Yes.
Okay. All right. Making sure. Don, glad you're enjoying Infinite Wealth. That is a big one I want to get back to. I probably never will if I'm being honest with myself, but glad you're still working on it. Yeah.
A moment of clarity for Ains. Would really like to.
Yeah, I mean, come on. We're all in that space.
Here and there.
Yeah, we're all in that space. Machine XP, one of our regulars as well, $2 super chat. Shout out to Hogue and legendary Defining Duke. Yes,
thank you, Machine XP.
You want to shout that one out, Hogue?
Yeah, no, I will mention this. This was a very epic episode that I did for Last Stand Media in Defining Duke. I think it went live for patrons on Thursday. I don't know what their schedule is for live for everybody, if Defining Duke goes live for everybody. But I did it with Cog, Lord Cognito of the Iron Lords, Maddie, who is the other host of Defining Duke, and Gene Park of the Washington Post. It's a 5-hour long episode. We cover all of the major topics of essentially layoff week at Microsoft. So there's a lot to go over. I almost killed myself for this podcast. I hadn't done anything more than 3 hours since the stroke. And I said to Maddie and Cog, who were very gracious and offered me a couple of exit ramps. I said, I really want to test myself and stretch myself with this, that I went the full 5 hours. I think it's a fantastic episode, but I did pay the price for the rest of my work week. It knocked me out pretty good for a couple days.
Could you ask them, like, when it comes to those 5 hour episodes? Because we just recorded one of the longest trophy room episodes that was 2 hours 55 minutes, and I had a lot of trouble trying to like bring how to shrink that file size down. How do they do it for 5 hours?
I am very happy to have absolutely no back end responsibilities over at Last Stand, but I can ask the question.
Yeah, ask that question because it might come in handy.
We do 3 hours here. We did at least for a while here on Bitcast, pretty regularly 3 hour shows, and they are tiring. I don't think people realize, especially hosting too, not to separate just being on the show, but like it just to take it out of you, just sitting and kind of focusing on and talking and discussing things for 3 hours long or more.
It is, and trying to add, right? What's the first note you have on all of your rundowns, Ains? Is like, be engaged. It's like, that's the mission statement. You're trying to be engaged in the conversation for the whole running time. And this is where I am more sympathetic to like Twitch streamers and others that go online complaining about their jobs than other people are, which is to say, it is a very tiring activity for those long runs of live streaming. And I don't think people get that, because if you're really good at it, and I think there are lots of people that are better than me at it, if you're really good at it, you're having fun, you're treating it like it's a chill experience, it's a party, whatever you're doing on a stream or otherwise, and it doesn't look like that. But I can't even tell you how many times I've gotten done taping an episode or streaming a Bitcast or anything in between where I essentially move my microphone to the side and put my head down on my desk for a little while until my wife knocks on the office door and says, "Are you okay?" I'd be like, "Yep, I'm good. Just need a refresh for a second." It takes a lot out of you, but I don't need any pity. It's a lot of fun and it's a good thing that I get invited to these things. I think it's nice to have my comments out there, and it's very appreciated. They get kind words like Machine XP's here, but probably not going to see me on another 5 hour podcast anytime soon.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think when people talk about streamers and like, oh, they're just playing games for a living, like, bigger streamers who can do it full time, it's like you don't realize how tiring and how exhausting, especially if you have to do that like 3, 4, 5 days a week. It's a lot. It's definitely a lot. Machine, thank you, my friend. He also member comments says, also shout out to Ains and Joe. I think he didn't want to leave us out. Thank you, my friend. Don circles back another $2, says, Hogue, false. Our summon sign was 3 hours and 45 minutes.
Don, I appreciate that you are a lawyer, so you will appreciate my response to this is we had an intermission. They gave us a pause. We went to the bathroom. We got a snack, and then we did the second half of that show. That's the trick for a lot of the long-running shows, is that they give us a pause, and we go, and we get to stand up. This was not that for the Defining Duke show.
Gotcha.
Fair
Don,
enough.
thank you again. And finally, Chartard with a $10 super chat.
Look at that.
With an actual question here. Why do you think Sony is porting Helldivers to Xbox? I agree with Colin. It doesn't really make sense considering Xbox's questionable longevity as a platform. Okay, we can tackle that. Just look at games for Windows Live.
We're going to talk about exclusivity, right? So do you want to table
we
this?
are. Why don't we? Yeah, I probably should have saved this one. So Charizard, thank you for the $10 super chat. Bear with us. We're literally getting to this topic in just a second. Let's segue to it. So I'll bring this back up in a minute. Hold on. Thank you, everyone else, for the generosity. Appreciate it. And we will go ahead and move on to the topic around exclusivity, which is our cover topic this week. So basically, we've been talking. I know Joe and I talk a lot with some of our friends, with Luke and Nerd Chad and others on exclusivity and basically the walls coming down. And I think a lot of us in this space have been talking about this. The ones who are fine with this, right? The ones who don't get in their feelings about it, the old console ecosystem, is that things are changing. Technology is changing. The financial aspects of these companies are changing. What they see the writing on the wall with all the major games that are on all platforms, the Fortnites, the Apexes, the Minecrafts, all those of the world that succeed everywhere. And the simple answer, I will give you the one word answer to this entire conversation, is money. But I mean, that's it. You can stop talking pretty much, but we'll talk more anyway. But I think that, this came up again recently with Helldivers 2, going back to Shardheart's comment. Helldivers 2 going over to Xbox and Gears of War Reloaded. Obviously, the remake of Gears 1 we talked about going over to PlayStation, and it obviously won't end there. We also talked recently about Forza Horizon 5 and its success on PlayStation.
Massive success.
Yeah, I mean, Sea of Thieves and Forza Horizon 5, correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, you're closer to this than me, but they were top 10 sellers on the PlayStation Store for like weeks on end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know about you guys, and the reason I wanted to bring this up today, especially with Joe being on and the Helldivers conversation, is that we've talked offline, Joe, but, for the audience, of course, is this doesn't bother me at all. And it just makes sense. I think that the exclusive conversation when you had these kind of walls between ecosystems, lacking crossplay, lacking cross progression, was always more of a technology restriction than anything else. And I think with the evolving technology, and now obviously one of the benefits, take it as you will, of these companies so focused on revenue is the fact that they're willing to put their games elsewhere, and kind of spread the love, if you will. So I just want to get your guys' overall commentary on this. Does it bother you? Do you like it? What do you see as the benefits? And I think the bigger question I wanted to ask the two of you today that we can discuss is, assuming we get to a place where the vast majority of games are on all platforms, regardless of where you are, what is going to be the defining feature or thing for you that makes you decide where to play?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, you take it first. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can answer this. I think I got most of your questions, Ains. If I missed one, just remind me.
Yeah, sorry, that was like all at once, but yeah.
I'm entirely in favor of more games everywhere. It doesn't bother me at all. I do want to comment on the fact that I think we're a little bit unique. I think anybody that's going to comment on this in a podcast format is likely a little bit unique insofar as the people that are predominantly in their feelings, as you put it, or console warriors, as I tend to put it, are the ones that have one box under the TV for whatever reason, because that's what makes sense economically, because they're younger. However they wind up there, they've got the one that they've invested their heart and soul in, and that's why they fight these fights online. And I can understand being bothered by some of this stuff because you are so invested in that kind of team aspect of this. I don't think that's ever been the case for the game console manufacturers as they are. They want more gamers in general. They want the pie to be bigger. Yes, they want their slice to be the biggest. But I think what you are seeing right now is the end of the tripolar console war, right? I think if you are looking at this, Helldivers 2 is probably just the start here. I think it's easy enough for Sony to explain their business model internally, as we're only going to move live service games that get this mass benefit from the most players inside, like a Helldivers, as the games that they're going to bring over. But I think when they get that money in, and they see no reason to keep that money only in-house because they don't see Xbox as a major competitor anymore. Whether you think Colin is right, whether you think that Xbox has just lost the console war, which they have, Sony looks at it as not buoying up a competitor that can take their market share in boxes under TVs, then there's no reason to not get the dollar bills for the products that they have available to sell. So yes, as long as there are some people willing to buy it in the Microsoft Xbox ecosystem, Sony is likely to bring over most things in the future. But I think the answer to that question will be determined by how many people buy Helldivers. And I don't know. I think Helldivers is a perfect fit for the Microsoft ecosystem. But I don't know how many Xbox buyers are out there. Microsoft has been conditioning their fan base to not buy games separately. That is in fact the case. However you feel about it, whether you think it's profitable or whatever else we could talk about in that framework, they are conditioned to buy things through subscription services and to not necessarily buy things separately. So I'm in favor of it. I think it's grand. I don't have a vested interest in any one of these boxes winning. I've talked about it in this space before. but it was not so long ago, certainly within my living memory, that the tripolar system was not set up, that you had all sorts of tech companies bringing in all sorts of weird stuff. And my favorite console of all time is probably the 3DO, which has absolutely no continued footprint in gamers' memories whatsoever.
No.
So, like, it used to be a much more wild west out there for these things. I don't think it would be bad if that happened again. I don't think that this signals that, but I'm entirely in favor of it. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I mean,
well said.
yeah, I agree with pretty much all of it. I'm the PlayStation guy. I get it. Run a podcast and talk about it, but we always talk about it on the trophy room of like, well, why do we love PlayStation? Well, we love PlayStation because of the games Naughty Dog makes, because of Santa Monica, because of Sucker Punch. Like, it's because of the studios that make these games that we get those emotional, attachments to these characters, to these worlds that they build. That's why we love, that's why we enjoy the platform. And so for me, it's like, I don't truly, as the PlayStation guy, like, give them Last of Us. I don't care. They'll remaster it again. Put it on there. I genuinely don't care. Just because more people get to experience the thing that I love means that studio gets to make more of the things that I love. And in a climate where it's becoming riskier and riskier to make those types of games, and they're getting more and more expensive, and we're seeing less and less of them. Go off, do your thing. How does it hurt me if someone gets to play, I don't know, Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered? It doesn't, right? How does it hurt me if someone gets to play Days Gone Remastered? It doesn't.
That hurts everyone.
It does not. You quiet yourself, Ains. Don't make me
this nice pen, okay?
Don't make me start quoting Deacon St. John at you.
Right.
Said nobody ever.
But yeah, no, it's just it's when we see Helldivers, this is a game that fits perfectly with the Xbox platform when I think about Xbox, right? This is a multiplayer thing. It lives and dies off of the community that it has or doesn't have. And you want it to continuously grow. That's why, I could see Nexus port this thing to, if the Xbox Series S and Nintendo Switch 2 are that similar in power, spec, whatever, I could see this thing going to Nintendo Switch 2. It just put it anywhere it can be, because PlayStation needs these live service games to hit so that I can stop talking about them on my show. So, for me, I don't see the problem with the Helldivers going. It's been a year and change. Go for it. I genuinely don't care. I understand when people do get these. I understand the attachments, because you go on all these adventures, quote unquote, with your controller in the plastic box, and you gain these memories. I understand why people gain the attachment to those things. But who cares? To me, it's just just port it. I genuinely don't care. I don't know if this is a sign for Uncharted to go over. I don't know. I don't know where Sony's at with that. But I definitely think Marathon We All Knew was coming. But whatever the next live service game is, whether it be Fair Games or whatever else, that's going to Xbox. It needs to be everywhere.
Fair Games is a weapon. They're going to make the Xbox audience have it as much as they do.
Exactly.
But no, I think the more interesting one, the one I called out on Defining Duke, spoilers if you're interested in it because it hasn't gone live yet, but is I would be interested in seeing whether Saros comes out on Xbox, because that's another brand that feels very Xbox adjacent, and that's a single player game. So that's when you'll really see the sea change if it's coming. The one thing I would say to the console warrior people out there is I am sympathetic to an argument from years back about feasibility, right? You want your console to succeed because you're invested monetarily in it, and you don't want it to die like the Dreamcast. That is not a risk for the PlayStation 5 right now. And in fact, I read Helldivers coming over at all, and any games that might be announced in the future, as essentially saying, no, this poor wounded animal in the corner is not a threat to us. It does not matter. We're not buoying them by giving these games to them. They are not going to grow up to be a threat to us. we no longer care. So if you want to gloat, if you want to be out there with your pride in your plastic box under your TV, you can say this is essentially the first marker of the console war has ended and the winner is declaring the other side pitiable. So that's how I see things from an economic perspective. And I think, Ains, you did ask one last question that I didn't answer, which is where would I play if everything were just always everywhere?
Yeah.
I would be playing predominantly on my PlayStation and my Switch. I love my Switch. I love my Pro Controller, and I love the ability to take it places, much like we were just talking about Dawn earlier in this episode. I do like to move the law firm with its laptop state to various cabins and lake houses around Michigan, and the Switch comes with me, and that's fantastic. So I like that as a system. But in terms of having more power than that, I live on the PlayStation predominantly because it's a console fits what I can do with my left hand better. Its controller fits better right now. I don't play my Xbox as much for that reason. I don't really care one way or the other in terms of which box is turned on, but I don't work with the Xbox controller as well as I do with the Pro Controller and the PlayStation controller.
That's fair. Also, DualSense is just about a controller, but yeah, no, I mean,
No,
yeah,
it's not.
Damn it! I tried to take it around with it. Where's your head at with AIDS? Do you think like more's like gonna come out of this or what?
Oh yeah, more is definitely coming. Yeah, I do. I definitely do. Yeah. I think that I think you guys, I agree with everything you guys said. I think in the console space specifically, right, we've seen pretty clear indicators that Xbox doesn't care as much. We've had that conversation a million times, so I won't touch on it. In fact, I'll pull Shardhart's comment back up because I think it touches on some of the additional things I wanted to talk about. So wording to me, I'm very picky about words. That's just the way I am. And so when we say Xbox's questionable longevity as a platform, I think that's worded really poorly, and not to call you out, Shardhart. So thank you for your super chat, but just, I don't think it's questionable as a platform. I think their console, right, as a piece of hardware, you can question and where they're going long-term with the console ecosystem, but their platform's not going anywhere. And so you need to be careful how we think about that. So I think we already do know the Series X successor is coming. It's a guaranteed. And so they are making another console. The success of that platform will obviously be TBD. We'll see. I think we all agree that the Series X and S didn't hit market as strongly as they had hoped or planned for, right? And so you've seen this kind of shift from a technology and focus perspective from Xbox. Even for myself, right? I thought personally that the Xbox Series X and S would do better than it did on the market. And that's, a number of factors we don't have to choose today or talk about today. But I think when you say why is Sony porting Helldivers to Xbox, Hogue already covered it. It's money. It's not going to degrade anything for what Helldivers means to PlayStation or its current community. It's money, as I said at the very top of this. Why would they not, I think, is the better question.
Yeah, that's
right?
the pushback. The pushback was don't empower your competitor because you want that bigger slice of the gaming pie. And if you don't think this is going to affect that, there's no reason to not take the dollars. The Microsoft dollars spend just as well as your own audiences. So put the game there. And I think that's what you are seeing now is this shift, right? Sony saw how much money Microsoft made selling Horizon, selling Indiana Jones, selling whatever through their ecosystem. They also made a good amount themselves just from their cut. And they say, all right, let's do that. We don't care if we give them their cut. They're not going to come back and fight us. And so Helldivers goes over. It's the project that makes by far the most sense as a test case. And then I have a sneaking suspicion that it will sell well enough on Xbox for Sony to say, yeah, let's get another hit of that with the next one, Fair Games, if that's still a game that is going to come out at any time in the future, or Saros. I think it'll take a bigger swing for them to put their premium package, their Oscar bait type games over on the competitor system, just because you will have that institutional kind of inertia from the people that lived through the console wars. But I think the bean counters, the money men and the board will eventually go for games being in as many places as possible because that money does spend as well.
Yeah. And also I think Saros is a really good point of like a game that could not just do well on Xbox, but like if you take a look, like, Housemarque is a first party studio, right? Sony owns it, but for some reason they're still working like side by side with XDev, which I find, and XDev's usually like the partner like studio that helps.
They worked a lot on Death Stranding, didn't they?
Yes, exactly. They work on your Death Strandings, your Stellar Blades, and stuff like that. So it's like those are typically games you put elsewhere as well. So yeah, no, that's actually a really good. That it maybe could be a hint for something. I don't know, but like in terms of like let's get like Xbox's longevity as a platform down, because yeah, like. I think Mark Cerny said it the best. I can't believe those words came out of my mouth, but it's like trying to predict the next 5 years of any technology is like it's really hard to do. So for us to go, well, this is going to be the last generation of Xbox, whatever comes next, it could be the likely scenario, but I don't know what the next 10 years of video games is going to look like from now. So I would say, yeah, I thought the Series S and X were going to be better selling consoles. I think they're legitimately phenomenal consoles. I think, things like, what do they got when you boot it up and the game just starts?
Quick resume.
Quick resume. There you go. Quick resume. Awesome. I wish I had that for Death Stranding and Marvel Rivals. But, 30 million units plus is nothing to kind of scoff at. Like,
no, I was gonna say it's more over 40 now. Like the 30 number's been around for like 2.5 years. Like it's over 40, and 40 million is not like GameCube sold like 20 some million. You know what I mean? Right. Like it's not a low number.
Nintendo has survived some stuff. They have.
Yeah. I mean, the Wii U
was like 11 million or something, like crazy. Like, yeah.
So I want to push back on that because it's like 40 million is still a big number to put out. And there are people there that could be interested in your stuff. Now, does that mean that, we're going to see PlayStation games day and day? Absolutely not. I always try to. No, you're not going to see that for a very, 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 very long time. And I think the single player games that you do see, not just the action variety, but everybody said it, your licensed games, right? Your Spider-Mans, your Wolverine, whatever comes after. Those games definitely will come over eventually sometime, whenever those contracts run out and whenever they want to renew them. But
I think that's right. I think the signals you'll see are things like Saros. I think the signals you'll see are things like the Uncharted trilogy remaster collection from eons back, right? Because you want to set up the audience for understanding when you want to sell them 4, 5, 6, whatever might be coming. And that's when you'll see the walls really break down. But I think anybody that looks at Helldivers and says it's nothing, that's wrong. Is it everything? No, because there's still a lot of data points to be collected. But it is potentially the start of something.
Yeah. So sorry, Joe, to cut you off, but that's exactly what I was going to say is if you look at the last 10 years, PlayStation is merely a couple years behind what Xbox is doing. I don't mean that in a negative way, just the arc of their transformation, right?
Yeah, they're a bit more
look at everything that has changed from crossplay to PC launches to their app to everything that's happened. PlayStation does it the same. They just do it a few years later. And what we saw a few years ago with Xbox is to start experimenting with their games going elsewhere, exactly what Hoag's speaking to. And that's what Helldivers is for PlayStation. I bet my entire gaming room, you are going to see more PlayStation games on Xbox, 100% as a platform.
The only reason I wouldn't take that bet, Ains, is that I just don't know if the audience at Xbox is just not going to buy it, right? I saw those news items about Final Fantasy 16. There are things that are interesting about the buying patterns of the Xbox audience that I think Sony has to run this experiment, but I'm not sure how that experiment turns out.
And if I'm Xbox, if I'm Xbox, I'm doing anything in my power to make sure Helldivers 2, like I would treat that like it's an exclusive of mine. Like I would make that the unskippable ad when you boot up your Xbox. Like that's
on the dashboard right now.
You get the full screen. Hey, Helldivers is out now.
100%. Because like Joe Sama, I saw a comment. He says putting PlayStation games on Xbox will not impact the future of the PSX. No, because like the games that they're getting are like a year old. Like, the same argument could be made for like Marvel Token is a game that's coming day and date on PS5 and PC. You can make the argument, well, if you really want Marvel Token, then just get the game on PlayStation if you're a PC player, right? Just go out there.
Is that how you pronounce that? I always
What?
forget the name of that game. The Arc System Works Marvel game.
That's how I'm guessing.
Okay.
So like, it's like, you can make that same argument. Just, I feel like sometimes we give caveats and like asterisks to like, well, it's a multiplayer game. Well, Halo is a multiplayer game. That's how I see it. And that thing sold systems back in the day. So like, I don't buy that argument necessarily that like, I'm not saying Ghost of Yote is coming day one to Xbox. I do think that would impact sales of PS5. I'm saying, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it, but I wouldn't be totally shocked if I see like a Horizon remastered or like an Uncharted collection hit Xbox somewhere down the line if Helldivers is that type of success, that both sides are kind of looking for.
And I don't think it has to be a moonshot. It just has to not fall on its face.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
I think it will succeed, Ains. I just would not bet my gaming room on it.
Yeah. That said,
neither would I in reality, but
yeah. I definitely.
No, I'm going to send you shipping information for your gaming room.
Good luck. You need a fucking ship.
I need a cyberpunk. All I ask. and the collectors. But just to say, like, whoever's like, I didn't see this coming. Yeah, no, like this was a rumor that was in the works for over a year now, just like them talking about it maybe happening. Yeah, I think Helldivers, any live service game definitely makes sense day and date. Something that I've echoed on my show since the start. You need the community to be there on day one. You need a massive amount of folks. You need to make it a big deal. So Helldivers, yeah, totally makes sense. And I'm excited. I hope they enjoy themselves. I'll be on Gears Reloaded. But
yeah, how about that release date? Huh? Like it's a freaking trade between the consoles.
Yeah. And again, GameFire points out, like, a few years ago we were talking about PlayStation's not going to put all their games on PC.
And now they're like, look at their state of plays. I try to say this all the time because the internet makes me upset. It makes me want to say cusses. It's like before it's like it's not going to be like day and day. It's going to be like a 2-year whatever, and then it's like it gets shorter and shorter and shorter until now we're at the state of plays where they're like PS5, PC, like right underneath when it's coming out or soon, whatever. It's like, guys, it's happening. It's such a huge market for them to avoid when they need the money the most right now, or at least
I mean with PlayStation, right? And people have called me out here in the chat about following Xbox, and I didn't mean it that PlayStation needs to follow Xbox. It's not the framing I was going for, because the PlayStation brand, as I've said many times, right, is incredibly powerful on a global stage, more powerful than Xbox, especially in certain markets. Yeah, and their console ecosystem is much stronger as well. Those are obvious data points. No one's arguing that. What I'm saying is, to these guys' point, which I think all of us are agreeing on, is goes back to the first word, money. It's about money.
Yeah, I didn't take it, Ains, as you saying they were following them by like rote, like they are looking to them for leadership. It's more like Sony's leadership is conservative, and they need a few more data points of experimentation to prove that something can work without getting bit or hurt in some way.
Yeah.
And so Xbox is out there being aggressive, one, because they're a more aggressive company, but two, because they're more desperate. And you can absolutely say that about where Xbox is right now. But then Sony looks at that and says, okay, this is what worked for them. This is what didn't. This is where they got hurt. This is where they didn't. And we can experiment a little bit. And the easiest thing to experiment with, the easiest thing to pitch to the board is the live service game that needs all the things that you guys have talked about, which is more bodies in there, means more money long-term, means more success, better chances for the sequel, all the stuff that goes with a live service game, and says, all right, Helldivers is the obvious choice. We're going to put Helldivers out. We're going to say we have no plans for further movement, and they don't as of this second. But after it becomes a success, and I think it will be a success on Xbox, then you start to look at what else do we got? Yeah, we've got Fair Games maybe coming out sometime in the future. We've got other things that might work for this crossover that they maybe haven't even announced yet. And then what I'm saying is what you really want for data points, if you're looking at it from the consumer standpoint, is when do they start to get antsy about the stuff that doesn't have that live service element? I think Saros is the next one that looks like it could be an Xbox game. And then there'll be more in the future. So I think it's worth having the conversation. It doesn't mean that Xbox is leading the way for Sony. Sony is the one with the power. Xbox comes to Sony out of desperation. Sony goes to Xbox essentially out of domination. And that's just the way economics works. And I'm not a console warrior. I'm not saying this because one side is better than the other. It's just who has the Q score, who has the brand power right this second. Sony's built it for decades. They beat Xbox, and they are using that domination to say, yes, we can go make more money feeding their console because they're no longer a threat to us. And that's totally fine.
And I think the smoke of all that is when PlayStation also went, hey, listen, it's not really about console sales anymore, guys. It is about the MAU. It's about that monthly active user.
Again,
that's what
Xbox said a few years ago.
Right. I try to like it's another thing that I preach on the trophy room. It's like, yeah, PlayStation's in a good spot. They're in a great spot. They're making more money than they ever have been. But when you take a look at the console sales and you're trying to show your shareholders, hey, where's their growth here? You're just seeing that you're not seeing it, right? Will the PS5 beat the PS4? I have doubts, and that's not a good sign. So even if it is like, oh, the PS5 at the end of the day sells, I don't know, 117 million, right? 2 million above. That's not a good sign of growth of where the console market is. It just shows, hey, here's where at our peak powers, this is how much we can hit. That's not a good sign if you're trying to show shareholders, hey, we're going to keep growing, monetarily out of this. You have to look at other venues. And that's why, you saw Shuhei Yoshida talk about it. I forget where, but like him saying, hey, listen, that the PC push is more for people in Asia than it is for, console expansion. It is us saying, hey, listen, trying to rip users away from PC is hard enough. Trying to do it in another region is even more difficult when we don't even have that infrastructure. So let's just port these games over to PC and have them sell there, and we get that money that way. It's just, again, what Hogue said, it's all about the money. It's all about where each one of them is at currently. And while PlayStation's in a really good place,
they are.
What is the market going to look 5-10 years from now?
Exactly. Yeah, the way I frame this out for people when I talk about it is Sony won the console war. I mean, you've heard me say it. People will clip this and say very strongly that Xbox lost, PlayStation won. That's just the way it is. But what Sony's looking at is, yes, they won the console war. They're the best at selling consoles, but did they just win the horse and buggy war right before the automobile, right? They have to start thinking about the next thing.
It's a good analogy.
Winning only matters for a minute, and then you can lose it and be completely down on your face. Sony looks at it and says, yeah, we need MAUs, we need bodies. That's where the money lives in video games. Does that make me happy every day when I wake up? No. That's not the world I grew up in. I'm not super interested in skins in Fortnite. That's not what gets me going every day, but that is where the money is being spent. If you look at what people are playing, you look at all of the free-to-play games that are dominating the top 10 hours spent charts, you look at everything else that is framed around the video game industry, it is that active users step. It is live services. That's why Sony made that push. Now, I would recommend if you're running a multinational company, thank you for watching first. Second of all, you don't want to make big choices for huge investments like 12 live service games and then switch your entire management infrastructure and say no to that. You basically spent all the money building and none of the money receiving. So don't do that if you're running your corporation. But here we are. Sony said that's a bad thing that we're doing right now. We're going to have to approach it a different direction. And that means that the PlayStation 5 generation mostly comes without games from Sony. And you have to learn to live with that. The brand survived. It just like Nintendo survived the Wii U, Sony will survive a somewhat fallow first-party exclusivity creation generation. But as it stands right now, Sony has to look for the next big thing. And that isn't in winning plastic box sales under your television.
Correct. Yeah. And don't forget, or excuse me, don't think for a second that they're going to let the massive losses they've incurred on this live service debacle just go away. Exactly. Right, that's going to be factored into everything that they think about going forward. It's not just like, oh, that failed, we'll move on. Yeah, no, it will. This is all part of that same picture. Shardard, I hope we covered most of your super chat here. I'm sorry you kind of got pulled up at multiple times. Thank you for the super chat, and I think we talked about that pretty extensively. So thank you. Either way, Carl says it well here in our chat. Shout out to Carl. He says, regardless, we're all along for the ride. Regardless, focus on the games. It gets simpler. Right.
It
Play
does.
the
So
games
many
where you
good
wanna
games
play
this
'em.
year.
Yeah, it's that.
Donkey
it's that
Kong
simple.
this week.
Oh,
Let's
man,
go,
can't wait.
everybody.
I'm so pumped.
Go.
All right, so we got to talk about, and this could be a fun one with the two of you. We're going to talk about Ghost of Yote State of Play this week. So we got that from Sony. It was about 19 minutes, I believe, if I recall. Just kind of highlighting, what they're doing with Ansu's story, the differences, and how they're approaching this from Tsushima, and some of what you can expect. And Joe, I was cleaning off over here because it's really dusty. I haven't cleaned it in a while. But, you were joking about the game room, and I know you love Ghost of Tsushima so much. So there's your statue right there, bro.
God damn, man.
That is a great statue.
And he hasn't even beat the game,
I haven't beat the game either, no. I'm sorry for the zoom in on my head there for the camera.
Oh, man.
But,
Eat the rich. Hey, Joe, you know one of your favorite games I've never beaten? Here's this cool statue.
Cool statue. I may put it in a box. I don't really need it.
It's
now.
an amazing statue.
It is that's part of why I bought it. And right next to him is Aloy. And those two statues are, and then Kratos right there too. But all three of those are just
Have you beaten any of the Horizon games? I don't know that.
Yes, I don't say this often, which Joe will appreciate. I platinumed Zero Dawn. Thank you very much.
God.
That's right. But story is incredible in Zero Dawn. Not so much
it takes that turn at the end that I appreciated. Some didn't. I did. But I really love that game. Yeah. Forbidden West, sadly, didn't grab me as much, but that's a whole nother topic. Ghost of Yote.
I like Forbidden West better. Yeah, let's talk about Yote.
Let's talk about Yote. So we've talked on this show, at least Travis, Dan at the time, Hogan, I talked about Tsushima quite a lot. I was quite high on Tsushima, not as high as others. Joe, I know you really love Tsushima. And being the guest today, we got this 19-minute state of play. You've talked about it on Trophy Room. Tell us what you think.
Man. Okay. I'm so excited for this game. Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima is one of my favorite games of all time. Just one of the most beautiful open worlds to me. And this looks like, first off, people are like, it's just more Ghost of Tsushima. It's like, this is a sequel of Ghost of Tsushima. What do you think she's going to be riding around in a mech? Like, I don't understand. So it's giving me the thing I want, more of the combat that I love, the world that I loved, and then just taking inspiration from other games that I also love. So like the open world seems like it is very much, hey, listen, we're not putting anything on this map. You chart the map the way you want it. You find secrets by meeting vendors and other NPCs around the area, or enemies that you defeat. You get to gather intel, and they'll show you where, everything in the world is. So it's kind of building on the, hey, follow this little fox, or whatever from the first game, but really building on it in a bigger way. That for like the elevator pitch makes it feel like more of a Breath of the Wild or like Elden Ring type of level design, where it's like, hey, listen, we got this map. You just put the pings on it. You tell us where you want the adventure to be. And that's how they've even said it. They're like, listen, this is your adventure. Paint it the way you want. She's on this revenge path, but you get to approach it at any time that you want to. There was nothing that I found questionable. The one thing that I love is when they're like, hey, listen, we're a video game. It doesn't show that she has like 4 weapons on her, but who cares? You have this huge, massive, Uji katana. You have your dual blades. You have your mace that you can like hook shot people and pull them to you. And so it looks like instead of stances, you have just switching to different weapons. And the interesting thing with that is that enemies can also switch their weapons, which makes it so that you're kind of doing a little dance with them. And I appreciated that. But yeah, it's man, the game is just gorgeous. Atsu looks like just such a boss. Sucker Punch really knows how to design their characters, because when they first said, oh, Atsu's going to be the main character and it's not Jin, I was a little disappointed. And then I saw her armor and I'm like, that's iconic. I'm like, this is nice. I love this. And then you get little furry companions. So it looks like you get like, you get the wolf, which nothing better happened to it. and then like you can meet other woodland creatures, and it looks like you can the bear that kicks your ass in the first game, you get to tame it in this one. So there's so much here. Shout out to Kyle. You get little boosts when you're riding in the flower petals he found. So just there's cards, man. It's just the whole thing. I loved it. What about you guys?
So I'm gonna pass to Hogue because I think Hogue is on the opposite end of the spectrum, and as for whatever reason, I tend to find myself somewhere in between. Although I'm probably lying more with you on this one, Joe. But Hogue, what didn't you like about the state of play? Because we did chat prior to going live, and you said it wasn't as engaging, I think, as you hoped it would be. So where'd you land?
I mean, there's a couple things I want to say on this. One of which is that I do really enjoy Ghost of Tsushima. I had pulled up my 2020 Best of the Year list just to show everybody. And you can see Ghost of Tsushima was my favorite game of the year, just to establish my bona fides on this. But I will also say, as part of that conversation, that I was on the Bitcast the year that they did a state of play for Ghost of Tsushima. And I'm going to say something today about Ghost of Yote that is going to be very similar to the clips you might find of what I talked about in Ghost of Tsushima, which is that I don't think the game shows particularly well. Every time I see a long-form state of play of this particular series, I find it to be very unengaging. And in this case, I reminded folks of the fact that I loved Ghost of Tsushima because I'm going to say that I thought this state of play was very poor in getting me excited about this product. I come into every one of these directs, especially ones that are focused on specific games, with the hope that it's going to excite me to be interested in the product when it releases. Most recently, Donkey Kong Banaza had a state of play, had a Nintendo Direct that I sat down to watch and said, I don't know about this game. I had seen it played by the Treehouse crew. And by the time that Direct was over, I was like, sign me up. I pre-ordered it from the same seat that I watched the Direct from because I was so excited about that game. When I watched this, what I saw was more Tsushima. And Joe, yes, entirely fair to say, yes, it's a sequel. You should expect getting a sequel to what you loved about the first game. That's fine. But what I'm looking for is something new to be excited about. And even though you talk up the exploration aspects and the card things, I don't think it showed well in this particular viewing. I can't establish from what they talked to us about what that's going to feel like in the moment. I can't get excited about what that might be. And so I look at this and say, played that game, got done with that game, loved it, don't want to play that exact game again. I'm just not the kind of guy that says, yes, love that, give me more of that same thing. And I didn't see enough to differentiate it from in this particular video. So other than two aspects that I really enjoyed, the visuals looked stunning and the music sounded great, I didn't see what I should be hyped about for this particular game. I am sure it will come out and it will be very high on my game of the year list, that I will enjoy the act of playing it. But when people ask me, am I hyped? Am I excited? Not from that video. That's where I sit.
That's fair.
Okay. Yeah.
I think Listen, I'm not going to be the Travis that's gonna try to poke holes in your theory here. You can have a wrong opinion, and I'm okay with that. You know,
I have plenty.
I know. It's all right. No, I think. Go for it. Sorry.
No, sorry. I was going to say, I think generally, Hogue, from what I've seen of you over the years too, is that you do a good job of. I think you're often harder to impress out of the gate, like early on with hype. But you do also do a good job of coming back and saying, hey, I love this thing. You know, I wasn't that hyped, but here I love it now. Whereas I think
I like it.
Yeah, and I think funny enough, I think I'm just on the opposite type of person. Whereas I get hyped probably about too many things. I get hyped about nearly everything, and then I end up disappointed half the time. So I think it's just the spectrum of where you are on things. But what were you going to say, Joe?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, audience, please keep the booze to a minimum. But yeah, no, I can see where you're coming from, Hogue, because it's like, for me, it's like, I just want to see more. Yeah, I love Tsushima so much. It's like, I just give me more of it. And they're like, here's more of it. And I'm like, excellent. So like, yeah, I can see how this game wouldn't show well for folks that are like, you know, I love the first game, but what is this game's hook other than it's more of this game that you really loved? So I totally understand. Cause like, even like when we were doing our reaction to it, like with the the change from the stances to now this weapon thing. Even that is a bit of a guess for us because we could be wrong. That's why I'm like, it looks like. So yeah, maybe there could have been some different things when it comes down to like, hey, you get to tame these animals rather than just showing them in a postcard, or like, hey, this is like a deeper, more in-depth guide to like how combat's going to work. I think that's what Donkey Kong really did well. They're like, hey, look at these like 3 or 4 features we really want you to know about because that's what makes this game different, and that's where it kind of I think with what I've seen of Bonanza, it's like it tells better than it shows, where it's like, hey, if we tell you these things and we show you immediately afterwards, you're going to be far more impressed rather than this, blind run of some, person's playthrough that people were coming off of Bonanza going, I don't know where they're coming from. And now seeing what they're trying to illustrate to you, more people are like, I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. I'm day one on that game. So yeah, I agree to you with that one.
I think I'm kind of in the middle. I can see where the state of play itself, if you just take it as its own thing, which it is, of course, didn't do a ton for me. I think where my head's going, and this is probably why I end up disappointed sometimes, and I don't think that'll happen here, but sometimes, is I connect dots that maybe don't exist. So like I see the card system they showed. Yeah. And to Hoag's point, they don't do a real good job of really showing how that translates to your moment-to-moment gameplay, right? But I like the look of the card system, and my head is going, okay, this will allow me to explore the world and give me hints kind of dynamically as I'm just going throughout the world of Yote, which is how I like to play games anyway. I'm just, we've said that, right? I just go off and do my own thing. So I like that. Now, maybe I've connected dots there that won't play out as well in reality. And I'll deal with that obviously in October. But I think there's a couple of those examples that I really liked about this. And I mean, there's no doubt the world's beautiful. I think they do cool with the setting. I'm a big music guy. We've talked about that. So I think them showing how they're building the score and stuff is really interesting. Although PlayStation really kind of perfected the photo mode across all first party games. Is lo-fi like their new thing? Is that where they're going with all their games now? You said there's like lo-fi music you can put on in Death Stranding 2.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's just Kojima being weird. So he's got like 60s kaiju music, but it's not the same thing.
Okay.
It's not a lo-fi mode other than one you might set up for yourself. So no, I don't think it's a thing that Sony is doing. Honestly, the director stuff, the Miike and the lo-fi mode, that did nothing for me. Like I was not impressed by the Kurosawa mode to begin with. And so we'd have other modes.
Which one is the Kurosawa mode?
Black and white, and like
the black and white thing.
Big nature sounds for the most part.
Yeah.
But like adding more modes that are not going to play as well as the way we designed the game doesn't get me going.
No, it's more like a nicety if you like that sort of thing, I guess.
It's like a little bonus thing that you might put in a deluxe edition. So it's great that it's in the baseline package, but it's not going to get me going. It's not exciting me for the product.
Yeah. We'll see. I like my favorite part of Tsushima outside of just exploring the one-on-one battles. I thought those were really well done, kind of like classic movie style. So I like that those are returning and you go hunt the bounties. The story setup, I know many other people have said this, right? The story setup is very similar to Shadows. Like it's almost like to a T. So I didn't play a lot of Shadows. It's just another one of those games that came out this year I just didn't have time for, but it'll be interesting to see how that compares.
It's unfortunate that they're the same year. I have no doubt that they will have different flavors, that it will feel different. But I have to admit that from my own personal playthrough of Shadows, that was a long time. Enjoyed myself. Not entirely ready to go back to feudal woman seeking revenge of people that wronged her family in Japan. Like, I'm not quite ready. So We'll see if I am in October. But I think it's just unfortunate timing for those two being so close. Like you can't think if you're Sucker Punch, or you can't think if you're Ubisoft, that the other side is going to make a revenge story that looks so much the same. And I don't think they're going to be the same, but I think from 30,000 feet on the outside before having played, Yote, you can't help but say, if I were to see those 2 summaries on the back of my TV guide or what have you, I would think, haven't I seen that movie before?
Oh, the on the back
Season
of the
gaming.
tin,
Season
back
gaming.
of the back of the TV guide. You got 4 of us with that comment, but I'm with you. So,
I'm just saying, the summaries, they read very similarly.
yeah. So
See, for me, I don't have that. I get it. Like both, people that wrong me thing. It's just like, to me, I look at it. I get it. I'm the odd man out going, yeah, it's not going to be the same story. It's like that's probably the only connection that they have together. Where Assassin's Creed does a lot of weird stuff within that story of Shadows that I loved. So and playing with the historical history side of all these important characters that you meet along the way. So I'm like, I know this game, the story, that's pretty much the only similar thing it's going to be. So for me, that wasn't much of a concern for me.
I'm just not
Fair
motivated to go on a revenge quest in feudal Japan so soon after the last one. Like that's just me being honest with the overall structure of the storytelling. So like in Tsushima, you're not on a revenge quest really. You kind of are, but it's not the same structure as what we've seen described with Atsu or with Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Yeah.
So I preferred the pitch for Tsushima about honor and when you give it up and all these various things that are about being the ghost of Tsushima. Haven't seen the same kind of hook to interest me in the character beats of Yote as of yet. It's like, okay, your family died and you want to get back at the people who did it. Fine. That's a setup for a lot of great action movies. Totally get it. But why am I invested? Why am I interested? It's pretty and it sounds great. Fantastic. But you're going to spend a lot of time in cutscenes talking to me. Do I care when you do? I trust Sucker Punch at a certain level from their history, but I do know that they've put out things that didn't connect with me. I didn't love infamous Second Son. That one bounced right off me in terms of their writing. So there are projects that didn't work for me that they have released in the past. So
Sure,
I think it'll work. I think it'll be good, but am I excited? No. So I finished at the same spot.
yeah, fair enough.
yeah,
And it's okay to be wrong.
The old Kill Bill, setup. It was funny because I was just talking about that with Sifu. I was replaying Sifu. It's the same, you're just going back person by person. So, and the last thing I'll say on it is, I too, Joe, I like the focus on the different weaponry and combat styles. I think that's cool. I worry a little bit when they say you'll need to use certain styles to fight certain enemies that are using certain weapons. You know what I mean? Any game that forces me down a build style will sometimes lose me, but I could be overthinking that one too. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think that's a fair concern because I had a little bit of the same worry too, because it's like, yeah, but because as I see all these weapons, I'm like, that's really cool. I'm gonna use a katana though, and they're like, well, sometimes you're not.
yeah, exactly.
So I definitely see that. Yeah,
I think that was my thought too. It's like, oh, great, other weapons, but I give me the sword, thanks.
Yeah, give me the one I want to use and let me use it. So options are good. Don't force me down a path. But no, I think it'll be great. It looks great. I did find it curious. Did either of you find it curious that they said that the state of play was all captured on standard PS5, not PS5 Pro? I wonder if maybe it's not 100% optimized yet. They didn't have kind of like gameplay ready to show from the Pro versus the PS5. But
I think from a marketing standpoint, it's just useful for them to say, hey, the biggest audience we have, this is how it'll look for your box. So you don't have to just assume.
Agree, but then they show PS5 Pro for Stranding. They showed PS5 Pro.
I didn't see a state of play for Death Stranding, did I?
It might not have been first person or first party, but his Kojima's presentation used Pro. That doesn't surprise me, of course, but it just feels like you'd want to show it on its best foot. But that's fair. Yeah.
I think it's even like, because the Pro audience is so tiny. Where in a marketing thing, you wanna show your best foot. I agree with that, but I also think for someone who does own a Pro, oh man, this game's gonna run real nice on it.
It's just gonna look better.
Yeah. Because I mean, we saw that with like The Witcher 4 was talking about it. Hey, this is running on a base PS4. GTA was 5. Like, hey, this is 5. Was it GTA 6? This is gonna be This is the game running on a basic PS5, so it's like it's a nice like, hey, here's where the most people are going to play it on it. Here's what it's going to look like, and for those of us who are bad with money and got a Pro, we could kind of look forward to. Well, it's going to look real pretty in 60 FPS. So
bad.
I got mine as a
money.
gift.
That's fair. That's fair. Whatever excuses you guys need to say,
I say
did
you're
that.
rich.
yeah. There you go.
Well, there you go. We October 2nd, I believe, right? Goes to
It's
Yote?
very early
Yes.
October. Yeah.
Okay.
2 days before my birthday.
Nice.
Going to be taken off
Nice.
on that day. Yeah.
Love it.
Just online announcing birthdays here, folks. Don't check his pins.
I'll give you his password in DM. Just DM me if you need it. Let's move on to this. This. Wait, did we get? Hold on 1 second. I thought we got another super chat. We did, which I missed. Yes. Machine XP back $5 super chat. Thank you, my friend. Not trying to stir things up. Yote looks exactly like Shadows. We covered this in talking. I forgot to pull your super chat up, Machine. But yeah, I think a lot of people are getting that vibe as well. I don't know if that will negatively impact it in terms of where on not wanting to do the same thing or similar thing again. We'll see, as Hogue said. But
Well, I kind of like the different flavors. I like thinking of these things at the same time separately. Shadows is the same as normal Assassin's Creed. They're focused on photorealism and kind of putting you in the place and time, and it's gorgeous. I love Assassin's Creed Shadows more than a lot of my co-hosts on this show. But it is clear that the Ghost series, and Yote seems to be no exception, is more focused on kind of the artistic impression of Japan than necessarily being exactly how it might look, right? You've got the falling petals, you've got the mountain in the distance, you've got all the stuff that you think of from like classic Japanese art more than, this is exactly how it might look photorealistically. So I think it's a different vibe, it's a different approach, and I think both can survive, even though absolutely the story setup is the same.
If I may just say also, I hate highlighting this, man. I hate highlighting negative comments like this. But Luke Lore, discussing human being, writes, Yote will get a slight review bump though. LOL. Ghost of Tsushima was an 82 on OpenCritic, sir. Watch your mouth.
Yeah, but Ghost of Tsushima came out in a year when Sony also released other products. See, Yote doesn't have anything else.
That's true.
It's collecting all the Sony bump for the whole year.
Yep, that's true. All right. Well, you know what?
You want to talk about Sony bump? God of War Ragnarok, am I right?
Hey.
Oh no,
Lord.
we'll allow it.
Hey.
Are you a big Ragnarok defender, Joe?
Oh, it was not. No, okay. It was not my game of the year that year, but I really did enjoy it. It's one of my favorite sequels.
It should not be rated as high as 2018. It just should.
Sure.
The fact that the same score is bonkers.
I know you guys get really like hung up on the number. I forget it almost immediately afterwards.
Well, I mean, just because it's so high, right? Like 2018, you can kind of see it. We don't need to get into it, but Ragnarok, man. Oof.
I was trying to plead with Kyle
Thank
to
you.
say, no, make it's Elden Ring. It's so obvious it's Elden Ring. So that's a conversation you gotta have with Kyle. Tell him.
Whoa. Hold on. I'm sorry to distract from the show for a second. You telling me that Kyle thinks Ragnarok deserves Game of the Year over Elden Ring?
Yep.
Okay. Well, yeah, we're done with Kyle. Wait till I see him next.
Do I need another slide to put up for whatever mine was that?
We've got a very weird story evolving as we speak with Crafton and the Subnautica team, and I figured I'd bring this up not only because it's a weird story that's obviously hit the news pretty broadly this week. Gaming industry be normal for a week, challenge impossible. But with Hogue here, obviously, can provide some context as he always does so well on these types of things. So there's a lot here. I'm going to give a 30-second, I'll try, overview for people who aren't familiar with what's going on here. So, and then Hogue, obviously, after I'm done here, take it away, as you can provide probably better context than I ever could. So if you haven't heard, Subnautica 2 is in development. We've talked about that here. I know, Hogue, that was one of your really hyped up games, if I recall correctly, right?
Subnautica is one of my favorite survival crafters. So the sequel I'm excited about. Yeah.
Perfect. So Unknown Worlds, developers of Subnautica, were acquired in 2021 by Crafton. Crafton, you may know, they're the PUBG Players Unknown Battlegrounds guys. They are a big, big publisher. They are bigger than you may realize because they're very big outside of the US and Western Europe as well. So regardless, the Unknown Worlds has been developing Subnautica 2. A couple weeks ago, or just this week, whenever it was, basically Crafton came out and they fired the senior leadership team of Unknown Worlds. So that includes Ted Gill, Charlie Cleveland, and Max McGuire. And the statement was they were replaced effective immediately. Now, the first story that broke on this, that I saw anyway, was that kind of conspiracy thought, which is that Crafton was firing them because they were set to pay out a $250 million bonus to those three gentlemen if the game launched in early access to meet certain requirements prior to the end of 2025. And so the game has now been delayed out of the year, and those gentlemen were let go. And so the original reporting was, hey, Crafton's trying to not pay $250,000 to these people. In the last 48 hours, it seems, more has come out about this, and this is where I'll stop because you get into a lot of speculation, but basically saying that Crafton did this and had good reason to do it because there's all sorts of various reporting and things that I'm sure will come out in the court case that these three gentlemen were basically, for lack of a better word, slacking, not being diligent on their duties, that Subnautica 2 was not meeting the development milestones that were agreed to, and is really not in a good place from a development structure. And therefore, Crafton, as the owner and or publisher, will be taking over and saying, hey, you're not meeting your responsibilities here. The game's not in a good place. And so be it. You guys are gone, and we're going to fix this. So there's a lot of other stuff here. I'll stop there and you can kind of look through this. But Hogue, when you think about this type of case, right, you obviously have two very contrasting viewpoints. And I think I read on IGN this morning that Max McGuire has filed lawsuit officially now against Crafton. What's your perspective on something like this?
My perspective on this is that before we see realistically two sets of legal documents, more than even quotes to media, it is almost impossible for people on the outside looking at this to know what actually happened. So I'm pretty likely to do a virtual legality episode on this, but as a spoiler to that episode, I have not gone through the documentation that exists right now because I don't think anybody has their hands on the actual legal documents that exist, if they do, at this point in time. What I see as described is a contract from a publisher to a developer that has what we might frame in most contracts as a milestone payment. And that milestone payment is described in the media as a bonus. That's probably not really accurate. A bonus is usually what you think of as being given for something extra above and beyond. A milestone payment is really if you hit certain markers, you're going to get this amount of funding that you can do with what you like, but probably reinvest in the continuing creation process if it's from publisher to developer. And it appears to have been a milestone payment for hitting the early access release by the end of 2025. And as part of that, in general, you'd have a framework in your contract around what are the metrics for when that milestone has been achieved. When can you say as the developer that you've done it? What does the publisher get to say about that? Because obviously, two different groups here, especially when $250 million is on the line, might have different criteria for when those milestones have been met. So the job of the contract lawyer, the job of really all commercial transactions, is to have in black and white on the paper what the rubric is that you decide on these things with so that everybody knows what's going on. Now, this is the platonic ideal of how these contracts work that I'm describing right now, but a lawyer is going to say, all right, we'll submit it, and it has to have these specific things done about it. It's going to achieve these various goals. It's going to be this big. It's going to have this stuff in the early access version. It's going to have passed Steam certification, whatever else might happen there. And probably we're going to tell you that it's done. We're going to certify that it's done. We're going to sign a paper that says it's done. And then you get to determine, Mr. Publisher, that it has been done to the satisfaction of what we promised in our contract. Now, what seems to have happened is that the folks at the Subnautica developer, and I apologize, I've forgotten their name already.
Unknown Worlds
has said it's ready. It's good to go for early access, or we're at least pacing that direction. We've still got 6 months left in the year. And the publisher says, no, it's not. And you can perceive that in two different ways. This has already been shown by the media. One of which is we'd prefer not to spend that money, so we're just going to delay it out of there, and it's under our control ultimately. And you didn't negotiate the proper rights in contract land to say you can hit that button, and then we're stuck with it. So we're just going to stop it and move it to 2026. Or you can look at it as the developer is trying to pull something. We don't want our name to be sullied and dragged through the mud for something that's going to crash and make everybody pissed off at Crafton. And so we're looking at what they're trying to do. They're trying to claim $250 million that they shouldn't. We've aligned the incentives incorrectly. We're going to push it back. And because they're creating all this problem internally, we're going to fire the people that lead the studio. We don't know from sitting here whether to say Crafton is defending their name justly or whether they're the bad guys that are trying to save a $250 million. You just don't. Whatever else you're listening to, whatever else you're reading, you don't know which side actually happened from what we can see right now. That's realistically what a trial process is for. Even if the legal documents come out, what you are going to see is that the creators, the people that were fired, are going to say everything was done, everything was shipshape, we met our milestone obligation, and they are bad guys that are trying to keep from spending the money. And that what you will see in the answer is no, they would have dragged our name through the mud. They weren't meeting their obligations. This was not what it was agreed to. And maybe, depending on how the contract was written, one party or the other is going to say it wasn't, you shouldn't read it exactly as it's written because our side is the right side of this particular argument. All of that is baked in with the notion that contracts are not just black and white, that everything you put down on paper is not the only thing that obligates one side or the other, because the law system, as many problems as it has, understands that human beings are imperfect and that you cannot write around every possible scenario in the future. So we do our best, but ultimately every contract in the US and in most other jurisdictions is read what we call with a duty of good faith and fair dealing, which is to say that even if you read every sentence perfectly and you just execute it like a program, if that results in an unjust state for some reason or another that we couldn't have anticipated, you are still obligated to treat your contract in good faith. You're not allowed to just try to cheat people by using the words on the page. So if Crafton says, well, we don't want to pay that $250 million, and maybe we can say that this comma says that they didn't deliver it exactly properly, a court might come in and say, no, they did the bulk of what they were supposed to. This was written wrongly by the lawyers. You still have an obligation of good faith to get this thing done. They expected this money. They were meeting what they were supposed to meet, and you're now trying to split the baby in a way that is unjust to the other side. We don't know that without the contract terms in front of us. That's what the legal documents can get to us. But at the end of the day, the very short version is we don't know. We won't know. It is the internet's way to jump on and say that they do know for these kinds of things, and more often to jump on and say the underdog is right? And in this case, the underdog is not the billion-dollar South Korean company. It's the little devs that make the underwater survival crafter game that you love. So chances are what you'll see out there in public more often than not is, oh, the big baddies don't want to spend the money, and so these guys are being wronged and we're on their side. We just don't know, and we won't have really any idea for a number of other legal steps take place.
Great explanation as always, Hogue. Thank you. Yeah, there's been some, as I dove into this rabbit hole, going through the notes here, even as I said, as early or as late as yesterday, this is evolving as we speak. In fact, there's apparently a leaked milestone document now that shows that as of this moment, all that's in the game is one main region without hardly any story, and the big features like farming and automation aren't even implemented. So there's going to be a lot of this, I would presume, Hope, for the next couple weeks, as this just people, especially, certain sites, as we know, will just continue to post this with various headlines to get certain clicks. So
that'll probably be my entry point to a virtual legality at some point, because those headlines are often winners.
There is a statement here I forgot I put in. So a new statement made a series of allegations against previous leadership. Crafton claimed it made multiple requests, quote, to Cleveland and McGuire to resume their responsibilities as game director and technical director, but both allegedly declined. In particular, following the failure of Moonbreaker, Crafton asked Charlie to devote himself to the development of Subnautica 2. However, instead of participating in game development, he chose to focus on a personal film project. this is another thing that came up. So Abyssal Films is apparently some AI project this guy's working on in parallel. And it said, the statement says, Crafton believes that the absence of core leadership has resulted in repeated confusion in direction and significant delays in the overall project schedule, which, to your point, Hogue, is what a court will determine.
Yeah, and that's what you would expect them to say, is that there's major problems with all this, and we are doing it to not allow our name to be sullied. And 2026 is a perfectly good year, and we're not trying to save that money because we are worth more than $1 billion. We have the money if we wanted to spend it. But the part of this story that always happens is that when you get the number high enough, you get lawsuits, because at that point you can justify the money spent on a legal process. So if you're talking about $250 million, you can pay for a lot of legal time with that. And at that point, everybody is justified in fighting about it. And yeah, Crafton might be the most evil thing that you've ever seen, and they might be trying to steal this money from these poor defenseless devs. Or the devs might not have been doing their job, and Crafton is saying we don't owe them that money. So we don't know. I'm just not quick to jump on one side or the other of these kinds of questions. So yeah. If I do a video on it, it'll talk about contract terms, and it'll talk about good faith and fair dealing, because that's where this stuff lives. It's also a possibility, this happens more than you might think, even for big publishing contracts like this one appears to be, that you just drafted the definitions wrong, that there's ambiguity in what a milestone actually is, what the release in early access should look like, and one or both sides are trying to use that to their advantage. So there's all sorts of stuff going on here. It is so messy that it's likely that there are one or more of those kind of ambiguity issues in play here, including like, did this guy devote the proper time that was expected of him to actually meet the milestones that Crafton expected of this development process? I don't know. But I do know that this statement that Crafton has made, that he's doing something else, is designed to set up a legal defense that says they're looking at other stuff, they're not doing what they're supposed to, the product isn't finished. That's fine. That's really all we need to win our legal case. But we want to establish for the court why not forcing us to pay this money is still in the interest of justice, because courts have a lot of powers that don't just live on that page in the contract.
Yep. Well said. Joe,
it's
you got any lawsuits for $250 million right now?
I mean, I got some lawsuits. I don't know if I'm going to win any of them. Jokes aside, though, I've peered into this because I think, Hogue, you hit it on the head. It's like everybody's already hopping on these devs' side, right? Because
that's how these go.
Right. It makes for a compelling story and a good narrative and something that people jump onto. The only thing I saw besides the initial, they canned these guys, is one of them on a podcast, and this is where it doesn't look good, going, I'm not doing much of game development. I'm, really focused on films. It's like,
that's coming out.
Right, exactly. And you're like, well, that's going to be, and as someone who, listen, my brother and his sister, my brother and his wife, my sister-in-law, they had to go through a very ugly lawsuit with the person who hit them, their insurance, and just going through those depositions was kind of hell on earth for them. So like just that line alone, I'm like, yep, that's going to be the thing. That's going to be the thing. They're going to keep using that one. So yeah,
it's important to note from that perspective that that's not actually important to whether or not your product hits a milestone, but it is important for establishing that these guys weren't doing what we were paying them to do.
Yeah. And so it's interesting. I know like Subnautica, second most wish list game on Steam. So like there's a lot of hype and excitement around it. And when it comes to this stuff, I'll let the Hogues of the world handle it. So, yeah.
No, this is this is where I love your context, Hogue, because it's what we see repeatedly, and you've said many times, Hogue, it's part of why you got into doing creation. And not to put words in your mouth, but we see this repeatedly in these types of circumstances, which happen more often than they should. Yeah. But sites just run away with headlines and viewpoints, and then Reddit gets involved in social media, and it's like the context and the truth of what's actually going on is often lost. And I honestly, it's even benefited me, Hogue, having you on here, because when I first read this, my first thought wasn't, oh, that's why they taking money away from the devs? Here's another company. My first thought was, what's actually going on here? And so that's why I started looking into it to see, like, okay, there's got to be more. You're not talking about $250 million. It's just going to be taken without some sort of additional context. You know what I mean? So it's interesting.
Yeah,
we'll see.
See.
Well, more to come. If you make a video, Hogue, obviously we'll shout it out here, but more to come on that. We'll see how it develops.
One of my metrics for will I make a video of something is, do I wake up thinking about what I might say? And I woke up the other day thinking about the Subnautica video that might pop out. So it's on the short list of virtual legality videos. We'll see.
Here's a nice one for you, Hogue. Eat Fresh Guy says it's worth mentioning. I found Hogue when I was taking a business law class that was driving me crazy. It was so neat hearing him break down the ABK acquisition as it was happening.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to be of help.
On that note, boys, on better topics, DK Banaza. It's a couple days away.
Give me that Banandium. Let's go.
Oh, man.
That's right. Lawyer by day, Banandium fiend by night.
I've said, I think on every show since, obviously, I'm very hyped for a big major DK game. IGN did do an interview with some of the team this week. If you haven't seen that and you're interested in this game, it's pretty good. And obviously now confirmed it is the Odyssey team, right? That's doing
most of it.
Yeah. Most of the major kind of players, if you will. And they gave some good insight into basically how they thought about Donkey Kong as a character. They talk about some influence that Miyamoto provided on there and like how they could build a game around his unique abilities versus, say, Mario. And it was really kind of interesting. And again, I'm just really hyped for this one. So next week we'll obviously talk a lot more about it.
IGN gets a lot of crap, some of it justified. Sorry, Travis. But they do good work from time to time. And this was one of those times. They've got a good interview. Read up on it if you're at all interested in this project, because they really did dig in. Nintendo likes to keep these people secret, and they say it's because they get harassed. So IGN went the distance, did some investigative journalism, got the interview they needed, and there's a lot of interesting notes there about how this project came together and what it means. And if you're at all interested in this, I think you're going to be more interested when you finish that interview, because they say a lot of the right things about why they're making this game and the way they did. And it made me all the more excited for Thursday.
Yeah.
Is it Thursday? I thought it was Friday.
It's Thursday.
Thursday. Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Today's Sunday, if that was the question. But the game comes out on Thursday.
Thanks, man. And where am I? No. So I'm going to say something very crazy. I've never really played a Donkey Kong game. Donkey Kong.
No, it's not that crazy. I mean, he's always kind of been I hate saying this because I love it, but he's always been the B tier of the, kind of mainline Nintendo games. I think Donkey Kong Country was obviously a huge one at the time, but yeah, I don't think that's that.
Like I played Tropical Freeze for, I don't know, like maybe 10, 15 minutes. And I
Freeze.
There's I don't know why I'm as excited as I am about this game. Part of it does have to do with, and this is going to be a hot take, I think DK's design is awesome. Like his redesign, I adore it. Like I think the art direction in this game alone just speaks to me. I really, really love what they're doing with it. And I'm the type of guy where it's like I want Nintendo to remain like a mystery to me. Like I don't like to dive deep into Nintendo. Like I want to check out the direct and just be like pleasantly surprised. And man, just the destruction of this game, it just looks so fun. And I question why everybody was so, will this work? Will this be whatever? Because it's just like, like I love like Hulk Ultimate Destruction on the old like Xbox. So like,
wow,
leading into prototype, the whole DNA strand there.
But just like breaking shit. Stuff. This is great. I don't know. Everything about it. It speaks to me, man. I cannot wait for Thursday when I go to GameStop and I pick this up, because
why this game looks. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say to Joe, having watched the Switch 2 reveal that had the Bonanza reveal and watched the Treehouse play it, I think they were hiding so much stuff for that direct that got me excited that it didn't look very engaging in what they had left to show with everything else that they were hiding. So that was my initial impression from the tree houses that I watched, I think, every minute that they wound up broadcasting because I was so interested in the Switch 2. And I was excited about Mario Kart World much more than I was excited about Bonanza. But when that direct came out and you saw that it was taking a lot of what I loved about Odyssey, the breadth of experiences and the size of the levels, and putting it into Donkey Kong, that's when I got excited. So the destruction alone is interesting. It is potentially cool. It's obviously their main hook, but that's not really what excites me about this game. So I'm a little bit less enthused about the Donkey Kong redesign, but I am open to it working in context. I don't like his crazy cartoon faces that I just see in thumbnails and whatnot, but
I love it. I'm very jealous of Ains that's got the plush. Those things. Like, I want that so bad. Like, a part of me does want it. So, like, we talk about like midnight launches. A part of me does want to go. Well, maybe I take off on Thursday. I go to Nintendo, New York or whatever it's called now, and I go and I like pick up the copy there. Like, there's just something about it. There, it's just like, maybe the plushie's still there. I don't know. I'm all on board on this. This is actually my most anticipated like game thus far for the rest of the year. So I'm hyped.
Nice.
I think it is for me too. I think it is the most anticipated game of the remainder of the year for me.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. That's probably Borderlands for me now, but I think, we joked earlier about where you start from an optimism. And as soon as they showed Donkey Kong at the Switch 2, I was pumped. So I've been praising this one from the beginning. And Joe, I can tell you why you said you don't know exactly. I forget how you worded it, but you don't know exactly why you're so interested in this or like how fun it looks. It's because this is the modern Banjo-Kazooie game that we should have gotten a long time ago. That's why.
Yeah, Jesus, let's not talk about it.
At bare minimum, it is the successor to the legacy of 3D Mario, and we haven't had one of those in almost a decade.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, right? We were like, we got Odyssey. It's like Odyssey was nearly 9 years ago or over 8 years ago. Like
Nintendo's weird. Like Odyssey was built to have expansion worlds. Like you could see exactly how every other company on Earth would have monetized it. Nintendo's like, no, we're moving on to the next project. It's like, okay, do you, Nintendo? But it was right there.
And that's why I love them, man. They're very much like, nah, on to the next thing. Don't worry, we're gonna make a live action Zelda game or movie, whatever. It's like,
cool.
I'm
all in. Give me the FMV Zelda game. Nintendo can crack it. Let's do it.
No, you want that CDI Zelda game that maybe me and 4 other people even think about nowadays.
I played both CDI Zelda games.
Now,
that's right. There were 2. Yeah, you're right.
I heard there was like a rumor because it is most of the Odyssey team, but the director's not there. Like it's the director of like they formerly worked at Square Enix.
He did. Yeah, he worked on Final Fantasy 15. That's correct.
There you go.
IGN interview. Check it out.
Yeah. So there's been like a line of thinking that maybe we're gonna get a Mario game soon-ish. Like maybe this isn't.
There's a lot of hopeful thinking there. I don't think that I certainly wouldn't bet Ains's gaming room on it. But I think there is a line of thought that says, if that guy didn't direct this, what was he doing? And saying, we are in line for a 3D Mario. But I believe Bonanza is the new 3D Mario. I know it doesn't star Mario. I know it's got different kind of design focuses because he's a big giant ape that destroys everything. But I would not be as convinced that, for lack of an actual name, Mario Odyssey 2 is coming out next year, say. It's a possibility because Nintendo does whatever they want. They could have split the team and done something with this director that is more in line with the Mario project. And I understand how people get there. I wouldn't bet on it.
Okay. Yeah, no, this is one of this.
Yeah, hope for it. Mario's great.
Between
Mario.
this, Metroid, and Duskbloods, this is why I bought a Switch 2. And
I love my Switch 2.
It's
People
great.
complain about the number of games on the Switch 2. I think I have 300 currently loaded on my Switch 2.
The thing that sucks about it is the lack of ergonomics. Because that thing, it's
get a Pro controller.
I have it, but I like playing handheld so much. So I'm waiting for the kill switch case. No, I hate Satisfy.
The D brand.
Yeah, Yeah, D-brand.
Okay.
They fixed the issue with the case that they said wasn't an issue.
I just this week got the Skull Candy one that was recommended to me. It's decent. It definitely helps. And I put the thumb pads on it too, but
Yeah,
I don't know. I may change it again in the future. I don't know how people play with it standard. Like I literally can't hold it for more than like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I always set it on a desk.
Yeah, I mean that's a good way. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So
see, I'm waiting for the Nitro case to come in, like or to be announced for it, because that Nitro case for the standard Switch makes it feel a whole lot like the Steam Deck, just a little bit lighter, which is great. So, and the Steam Deck's so goddamn comfortable in your hand. So gosh darn, whatever. It's really comfortable to hold, and so yeah, the Nitro, give me that. Please.
You can just roll through it, Joe. Travis sometimes drops F-bombs. Now call him out on it later, and he'll say, "Did I?"
I'm trying to be respectful. You know me.
Appreciate it.
But yeah, no, like I that's my only hang up with the Switch too. It's just like I'm playing Luminous on it, and my hand cramps up 20 minutes in, and then it ruins the rhythm because I got to pause it. I'm like, God damn it, you know. But yeah, like. I don't know. I can't wait to play Donkey Kong. I'm just so hyped.
I'm super hyped. I love this key art too. I want to pull this up. That's what I was searching for. I was typing. Sorry if you heard any of that. But the key art, it just reminds me of like King Kong for some reason, you know. But it's just I think it's just so cool looking. I love his style.
For some reason, that's a big ape with a little woman. It's for some reason that is King Kong, Ings.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I'm we'll see how Pauline is as a secondary character. Obviously, we have to play that, but just Donkey Kong, like seeing him get his moment as a cool character. I don't know why I've always vibed with Donkey Kong, but it's gonna be a lot of fun. So.
Maybe because he had so much hair that you're like maybe
jealous of him.
Exactly. I could strive to be that hairy. You know, like.
That's good.
But yeah, Donkey Kong's cool. He's got a bit of like Tasmanian devil in him.
Yeah, and I think that's what I like seeing about this game is they're playing into that, right? It's just like, yeah, just smash it and go crazy. That's cool.
So
all right. Well, we are going to go ahead and wrap it up there, I think. 2-hour 15 mark. Joe, thank you for coming on, and thank you for coming on with late notice. I only hit Joe up yesterday, but he was gracious enough to join us today. So appreciate it as always. Please shout out the trophy room. Don't shout out Kyle; he doesn't deserve it anymore.
No, right?
But otherwise, you know, I'll shout out Mike and 61 Indy without Kyle. But
that's fair. That's fair.
hit our audience where they can find trophy room and yourself, my friend.
That said, I will say the person that I have a bone to pick is actually Tegan's husband, who says that Elden Ring's overrated. So, that's a wild thing to say. But yeah, no, Elden Ring was Game of the Year 2022. There's no doubt about it. You can find me over at the Trophy Room, where me and my two hosts talk about the latest and greatest in all things PlayStation each and every Wednesday, where you can catch us live at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. And then on Thursdays as well, it goes out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever pods are caught. You can catch it there. And you can find me over at Mr. Badbit on Blue Sky. And, you know, sometimes I tweet out stuff on the other place, like when the show goes live.
Fair enough.
If you want me to interact with you, go to Blue Sky. Okay. It's nice over there. People are actually talking, besides all the Elon stuff, right? Like people are actually talking about the games they're playing over there. We're not having like these dumb, like, yeah, like the like we think we're being philosophical, but it's actually a 5th grade conversation about video games and platforms over at the other place. It's nice over there.
Yeah,
telling you.
Yeah. But cool. Thank you again, man. And obviously we'll talk Donkey Kong next week. I'll talk to you offline about Donkey Kong and can share your hype for it next week on the show when Travis is back. And we'll see. Maybe Travis can talk about what he was doing. I don't know. He's his NDA stuff lately. I tell you what.
We never know when Travis can talk about what he's doing, and we don't know whether that's NDA, legal concerns. We have no idea.
Lawsuits he's facing.
Yeah, he said he's facing a lawsuit because one of his buddies decided to start making an AI movie thing. So, you know, good luck to him. Good luck to him.
Ho, get us, man.
Sure. Well, I heard Joe talk about the game of the year in 2022 being Elden Ring, and so I wanted to look up what mine was. It was, of course, Immortality, which Ian Runkle tells me is not a video game, but is nonetheless an experience that I loved in 2022. I will not knock Elden Ring because I know Ains loves it, but also because I haven't gotten far enough to judge it properly. It's just not a game for me. But it's certainly not God of War Ragnarok, which was on a separate list that I made that year of games that you won't see on my Game of the Year list because they are unworthy. So there you go. Otherwise, if people do want to catch up with me, I am still on Twitter/X at Hoglaw. I am on my YouTube channel, also at Hoglaw, not making content for you over there, although I mean to very soon, and maybe we'll do a Subnautica video soon. And if you just want to see me slowly kind of die over the course of a multi-hour podcast, you can watch me on Defining Duke, which I think goes live today, if somebody in chat was correct, that I taped with the guys this last week. It's 5 hours long. I've gotten a lot of positive comments about it, so you can feel free to add your voice to make sure I don't get a big head with your negative comments. So come on over, visit me at Last Stand Media on Defining Duke, and let me know how much I made a mistake in my comments on that episode. That's all I got.
Cool. Yeah, on SG side of the house, should be relatively quiet. Actually, was looking up while we were talking, Joe. I think the embargo for the game we're playing is actually even the week after next week. So we got that one real early. So yeah, that won't even be up this week. But Steve did finish up his final thoughts on Dune Awakening. That's a game that came out in MMO form, but it's like evolving rapidly. And so he kept kind of going back and revisiting. I think he said he's over 160 hours now and just kept kind of checking out the updates and stuff. So put his final thoughts down. I'd appreciate it if you check that out if you're interested in Dune. He's a big Dune head. So, you can trust his thoughts in that space. Obviously, we'll talk more about Donkey Kong. I did get in yesterday the Phantom Liberty statue that I'm going to try to unbox and do a video this week. We'll see if I get
it. How big
is that just a big statue? Naked Idris Elba?
He's not naked. I would have paid extra for that.
Sure.
But no,
well,
it is. It is. Yeah, it's 2 foot. So it's it's a full size one. I have literally right around behind my PC here is Keanu Reeves, one that has the it's really cool because it's the only statue I have that has an actual LED screen on it that'll play video from the game, not like gameplay, but like the stuff you would see around the city, and it has the whole soundtrack built into the statue. You can literally just sit it there and it'll like play shit from the game.
Nice. That's crazy.
The Idris Elba one is kind of a matching one. So it is Reed sitting there with his gun and, background and stuff. So
I was joking about it being a giant Idris Elba, but good to know that it is.
Oh, it is. Yeah. I mean, he's that character in Phantom Liberty. So yeah, it is. It's going to be weird having a real person, like real Idris statue staring at me. But anyway, thank you as always, audience. You've been awesome. Thank you for the generosity today. Enjoy your week in gaming, of course, and we will see you next week. Till then, peace.